track to hit its target of limiting global warming. The latest report comes as the world debates ways to respond to an energy crisis brought by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Car rental giant Hertz is stepping up its purchases of electric vehicles. It now plans to buy 65,000 of them from Swedish maker Polestar, and that's on top of the 100,000 Tesla cars Hertz is already buying. Everything from breakfast to Easter is getting more expensive because of an outbreak of the bird flu. 17 million birds have been destroyed in flocks across 21 states. Rena Roy, ABC News.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
KHOW News Time, 10:03.
A local expert responding to accusations of Russian war crimes in Ukraine. University of Colorado Boulder political science professor Dr. Sarah Soki says there will certainly be investigations.
The next step is to investigate and document what has happened, and then to bring that to international organizations. And what would happen to President Putin is very uncertain at this stage, but he would certainly be implicated in the accusations of those war crimes.
She adds that while some see Russia's retreat from the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv as a good thing, there are still attacks in other parts of the country that she finds troubling. Colorado COVID cases declining dramatically. The 7-day average of new COVID cases just over 300, according to the state health department. That's about half of what it was a month ago. That number peaked at around 14,000 in January. The number of Coloradans hospitalized due to COVID is the lowest since the pandemic began. 84 people are currently hospitalized due to COVID. That is down from over 1,600 in January. That's the latest. I'm Chad Bauer.
Now, Impact Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Woodley's Fine Furniture.
Excellent drive times around the metro area at this check. We are looking good on I-25. Both directions moving along quite smoothly. No problem spots now as you work your way between C470 and Colfax, either direction, about 15 minutes with no delay. 225 looking good as you work your way between I-70 and I-25. 10 minutes, again, no delay, smooth sailing both directions. Fox 31. Weather, partly cloudy skies, dry today, and high of 67. An overnight low of 37, and then for tomorrow, a 30% chance for rain. Gusty winds and a high of 59.
It's bigger than 0.33, of course it is.
With your Impact Traffic and Weather, I'm Chris McLaughlin.
I'm just crazy. I'm just a crazy
Woodley's
person.
Fine Furniture, specializing in handcrafted Colorado-made furniture, custom upholstery, solid wood, and the most comfortable leather furniture imaginable. You will not find better built furniture in Colorado.
Yeah, my face in the morning.
Visit Woodleys.com today.
Don't miss the Trading Group Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 630 KHOW. Learn how you can earn a full-time income as a short-term trader. That's the Trading Group Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. The question line is 888-646-8787.
I stopped worrying about how I look.
Sinking confidence,
I'm happy. I'm trying to be healthy.
I'm Brian with Advanced Smudgejacking.
There's only so much you can do, you know? Now, Mr. Rogers, you know that I'm getting ready to go on the air in about 1 minute.
Equity is at all-time high.
You've only known me how long? Okay, so what should I do? Should you send me an app or something?
IdealHomeLoans.com. First we listen, then we lend, including...
I'm sorry, I should have said it. I assumed you knew me. Okay, so yeah, send me everything by email. Do you have my email?
Also, rock-solid pre-approvals, which put
T. Martino.
with cash buyers. Call now.
T. Martino.
303-867-7000. IdealHomeLoans.com.
Need a new roof? Call Excel Roofing. 303-761-6400.
Thank you.
To
I
Tom
appreciate it.
Martino and let your voice be heard. Call, text, and now talk back anytime with our free iHeartRadio app while streaming KHOW and the full screen player. Just click the
I'm going to do that
to
with
record
Low
your
just to have
talk back to Denver's
I'm not
top
going
station
to use
now.
it, but I may use it now and then, but I'm going to just have it to tie up the equity of my home. Liquid loan? It shows as a lien, it's a line of credit for, but you don't have to take any money because it's kind of not good to have it hang. Some of the things we'll talk about. I'll tell you about that one next chapter, but that's not why you're here.
Yeah, I'm Tom Martino, and I welcome you to the only show of its kind anywhere in the universe. I like saying that, although I haven't been around the entire universe yet, but I think it is. I can say it's the only show of its kind anywhere in the universe with a Talib, for sure. I don't think you'd find him anywhere else. Hey, Talib. Anyway, welcome to the show. Suze will be answering your calls and putting them through. Shannon on the board, Talib on the cam, and Mark in parts unknown. I don't know where the hell he is. Yeah, that's where he is. And then we have Deputy Doc standing by, Deputy Smarty Pants standing by, Deputy Dollar standing by. Deputy Doc's in the studio today. And then we have a special guest. First, I want to tell you about a very special sponsor that I want to welcome to the show, because for years I've been looking for someone who knew what the hell they were talking about, and they knew what they were doing when it came to garage coatings and hangar coatings and warehouse coatings and the floors, even sidewalks, aprons, whatever. And Garage Magic is here. So finally, since I know John personally, when he said he was starting this, I knew that he would do the right thing. Garage Magic. They have the coatings that will, I call them bulletproof. I don't know. I've never shot a bullet, but man, they are really strong. A 21-year warranty, and he has highly trained employees, not subcontractors, that'll come and do a great job. And this time of year, a lot of people are thinking about it. GarageMagic.com. The number's easy to remember, 720-600-HOME. Great prices, too, 720-600-HOME. Okay, welcome. Let's go to the phones. We have a question for Blake Harris, who's an estate planning attorney. And then I have another attorney in-house today, O'Brien Legal Services, for real estate law. So many people run into real estate problems, and we talk about that, too. So Blake Harris Law is going to listen. Thank you, Blake, for being here bright and early. Well, it's not that early, but, you know, especially for you. Blake flips between 2 time zones, and he has a multi-state practice, but we like to say that he started with us here in Denver. But Blake, thank you for being here. Estate planning is very popular nowadays. People, I think since the pandemic, realized anything can happen to anyone at any time. Ray's got a question or a concern. Ray, welcome. What's going on, Ray?
Well, I called Friday and they told me to call me back today. I had a full medical power of attorney for my daughter, and she passed away. I believe the hospital put her into hospice, and they didn't let me know.
Now, wait a minute.
And
when did your daughter, this is a terrible thing, by the way, Ray. I'm so sorry. When did this happen? When did your daughter pass away?
On January 27th.
Now, where was she living?
In Colorado Springs.
Now, okay. And she was, go ahead.
She's the same daughter you helped me get out of jail. Remember last year?
Yeah.
2 years ago or so?
Was she troubled, Ray?
Well, she had cancer. She was.
Well, I know. Yeah, but I mean, in jail, what was that jail about? I forgot.
Well, she had been in there. This started with something petty with shoplifting, and then it went into other stuff, and she was in trouble for a few years. And she was in there, and they diagnosed her with cancer, and they wouldn't let her out. And they wouldn't give her treatment for about almost a year.
I remember.
We got her out.
Mm-hmm.
We had to go through the governor, and we had to go through a bunch of stuff. Anyway, and then she got out. She had her stomach removed. And they said they had gotten it all, and then it went from there. And then they called me a couple of three or 4 days later and said that they hadn't gotten it all.
Now, what was your daughter's name so we can refer to her by name?
Laura.
Laura.
No.
Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that, Ray. Did Laura leave behind any children?
She's got 3 children. They're all adults.
Okay. So what can we do to help you? I thought we needed Blake Harris because it was an estate kind of question. Maybe I was wrong. What is your question?
My question is that, I had full medical power of attorney for her to do, to conduct all her medical decisions.
Okay.
And I wasn't aware of it, but I believe they took her off of normal care and put her in hospice because when we went in there,
So do you want to know, in a nutshell, you want to know how did she get from normal care to hospice without you knowing it if you had a power of attorney?
Yes, sir.
Was she incapacitated totally when they moved her?
Not really, because I talked to her.
Well, then she may. Okay, so could it be that she? But Blake, let me ask you something. When someone gives a medical power of attorney to someone, Blake Harris, attorney at law, does that take their place, or can they still communicate directly?
You can still communicate as long as you have capacity to. I mean, think about it for a second. If you're sitting there with capacity and there's somebody else standing next to you that has your medical power of attorney, who's the doctor going to listen to? They're still going to listen to you if you have capacity. The medical power of attorney only comes into play if you don't have capacity to communicate your wishes.
So, Ray, the simple answer to your question or concern is they didn't have to call you to put her in hospice. Is that right, Blake Harris?
Correct. If she could communicate her own wishes, then your medical power of attorney is not relevant.
I talked to her 2 days before she passed away.
Yeah, and what about it?
She told me she didn't want to die. She said she was, feeling sick.
Well, hold on, Ray.
She was able to talk.
Hospice doesn't mean they wrote her off. It just means that the level of care she needs. There are a few cases where people go to hospice and they don't die. Are you saying that they forced her to die? I mean, I don't know what your argument is.
What I'm saying is 2 days before she was talking, told me she didn't want to die. The day before, I called the nurse because I had to go to a funeral of my nephews. I talked to the nurse. She said, well, she had a pretty good day and stuff. And, we talked and chatted and stuff. And then 3 hours later, they called us for us to get over there because she was dying.
But Ray, what is your contention then? I don't know what you're saying. Are you saying that moving her into hospice accelerated her death, or they gave up and didn't give her treatment? What are you saying?
Yes. What I'm saying is if they put her in hospice, they loaded her up with medication. She weighed around 60 pounds already.
But
and they were giving her
she could not have gone to hospice without her consent.
Well, what I'm saying is they loaded her up, I guess to make her comfortable, where they were giving her adult doses of morphine or heroin or whatever they give people on those pumps. I don't know what it was, but they were loading her up with that. If she was talking and stuff a few hours before, and then when we got there, she was totally ripped.
Ray, I'm not sure what we're talking about here. Are you alleging that they killed her? Are you alleging if she stayed in the hospital, she would have lived?
I'm saying if she would have more than likely come out and had a few more days, more weeks to live.
Okay, this is not an issue of a power of attorney, but as long as we have Blake on, Blake, as far as those decisions, she could not have been put into hospice without her consent. Is that right?
I mean, correct. If she had capacity, nobody's going to come grab you, Tom, and throw you into hospice without your consent.
Right. So she's in. Now the dad didn't like the idea she was in there. She said she didn't want to die. She could have asked them to be released.
Correct.
Again, Ray, I really don't think. Okay, Blake Harris, by the way, 833 Ask Blake. Your power of attorney did not give you power to go beyond her wishes. She signed up for hospice. She was in hospice. If you're questioning their care, saying she could have had a few more days, that is an uphill battle. What are you hoping to accomplish? Let's say you were correct and they could have squeezed another few days. What is the consequence that they didn't? What are you hoping to accomplish is what I'm asking. I really don't know, and I want to treat you with respect, and I know you're grieving, but what are you hoping to accomplish, Ray?
Well, what I'm trying to accomplish is that I feel that they just over-medicated her and done her in.
Well,
and that's what the hospice does, because they had her in hospice before.
Sometimes they do. They keep them comfortable. That is exactly right. But the converse of that would be not medicating her and having her in extreme discomfort and pain and dying anyway.
I know everybody got to die, and then she didn't have too much time because she did have the cancer. But she didn't die from the cancer.
Well,
she wanted to die. She starved to death, and it was because of the doctors too, because they put a J tube in her.
Ray, okay, let's say she could have had another week of life, and now she didn't. What now? What now? Let's say you're right. Now what?
Huh? Should have died anyway, just like you're going to die.
I understand. So why? And I don't mean this because I don't want to hear you and I don't want to help, but what were you hoping we could do or anyone could do for you?
Well, the thing was, my question was the power of attorney. Why have the power of attorney if the patient's going to have, their own say anyway,
The reason is, okay, Blake mentioned that. Here's the reason for a power of attorney. In the event they're incapacitated, it's not to overshadow their wants, needs, desires, or what they sign up for. It just isn't. It just isn't. I think you misunderstood and thought you would be in charge. But, Ray, that's a chilling thought that maybe she'd be in extreme pain and discomfort, but you don't want to drug her because you want her to stay alive a few more days. Maybe that wasn't the way to go. Maybe it is. I mean, these last days always have terrible questions and terrible second thinking. And I think this is a part of your grieving more so than it is a legal problem. I don't think having power of attorney should overpower someone's own decision ever. Okay? She was not incapacitated. I mean, I don't know what to say. But I don't think you'll find anyone at all, to take this case, to even look at it.
That was a no reason case. That's exactly what I told him Friday. The poor guy.
He's sad, but you made a good point.
Did you say the same thing, Jason?
I didn't say that pain part that you said, like, why are you doing that? But I said the power of attorney is in case if she's incapacitated, and she's not.
Okay, let's do this.
Order 24/7 at easycater.com.
You know, reverse loans can be very valuable for people who are older and have equity. Empower Reverse is a company we know and trust, and I really suggest that you call Empower Reverse and see what Mark and his team can do for you. EmpowerReverse.com. You know, like Empower Field, but it's EmpowerReverse.com. Empower Reverse Mortgage is a team of people dedicated to getting the right loan for you so you can live off the equity in your home without ever having to pay it back. You'll never be upside down in a loan. And when done properly, your house will appreciate most of the time way beyond what you borrowed anyway. 833-502-3100. 833-502-3100. So many people now want some spare cash, especially with inflation at record highs. And David Ellis Jewelry is someone they're turning to buy their old metal, gold, titanium, platinum, I don't know, whatever it is that's precious. He'll buy it. He'll weigh it and pay it. David Ellis Jewelry is a name you can trust. The important thing is he's been around 40 years. I think I've known him the whole time. He's now at 3rd and Clayton and Cherry Creek's been there many years. He'll take a look. He won't waste your time. If you have old jewelry, mismatched earrings, old coin collections, broken watches, the condition doesn't matter. He's buying the precious metal. DavidEllisJewelry.com, 303-322-8779.
Welcome to...
So, how's business?
My business. I do both transactions and litigation.
Okay,
on
so
real estate.
what keeps you most busy?
Mostly disputes between neighbors. So I do residential and commercial, but I get a lot of calls from homeowners. That's the volume. But I do office building purchases and sales, leasing. But it's on the consumer side, it's neighbor disputes, fence line disputes, shared driveways. But also, what I really enjoy is helping people buy and sell houses. And I do a lot of inside of families. Parents buying, parents selling to the kids, that sort of thing. Or recently, tenants buying out from the landlord. That's a new, no broker involved.
228-2910. Call today.
My daughter just did that in Atlanta.
228-2910.
Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of
retired Braves pitcher Jose Alvarez to
no, my daughter, the daughter just bought from her landlord. I bought out her rent. Now she owns a condo.
Do the normal things that you do in life. QC Kinetics treats that chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, back, and elbows with non-surgical regenerative treatments. Your body actually helps heal
buyers
itself.
Can't make objections for inspection items, and they end up finding something after closing because they didn't have the opportunity to object or do much of the inspection.
We drug a lady through the dirt.
As for Jose,
from Colorado, we drugged her through the dirt. We had top-notch inspection go out there and pull out everything we could find before we even seriously started talking about thinking about the closing.
Well, if you have the time, some of these deals, you got 10 offers. You know, you don't have that kind of time.
What had happened was,
you know who wants to come in studio?
And they have a bunch of things.
Joel Joel from Park It Right.
In the attic.
He wants a chance to give his side.
In the studio?
Yeah. And here's why. He's got a hearing problem and he can't talk on the phone or something like that. Let's get it set up.
Water. It's in the basement.
Standing water in the basement?
Well, whenever it rains.
But you know what?
In the garage.
You know that new legislation on towing talked about it Friday with riots? Not only at the impound yard, if they say they can't pay, you have to give them the keys back in the legislation. You have to actually post a sign saying that.
Do me a favor. Have them in at the same time.
They're not going to.
And Wyatt's, I don't think they like. And you know who brought up the most interesting part about Park It Right? Listen to this. They don't solve a problem. If someone's in your spot, like if you're in a condo and someone's in your spot, what happens? All they do is move the fucking car. You still can't get to your spot.
Right, well, that's
but they don't solve an issue.
Yeah, well, they kind of do because nobody will do their part.
They won't do it more than once.
Well, but they won't do it if they're totally right.
Well, if they're towed, at least the other person can park in their spot. Kevin said that, and it never hit me. That makes so much sense.
Into it at right at 190. Yeah. And it's going to be something in a minute.
Hi, Tom Martino here. Welcome to the show. Did you know Frank Duran, the realestateman.com? Do you know Frank Duran will do free market valuations? He calls it a market analysis of your home. What is a market analysis? Well, it doesn't say what it'll appraise for. It says what Frank believes he can sell it for based on his vast experience. Now, he actually has stats to prove it. And he'll compare it to what he has sold in the past, plus the comps in your area. You can do that free with no obligation to list. If you do list, of course, Frank is a great guy to do it with, and he won't hold you to a long-term contract. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com, 303-920-1622. And speaking of real estate, Brad O'Brien is with us, a real estate attorney. Brad, I wanted to ask you on normal buying, selling docs, residential buying, selling. People make contracts all the time, and they put special things in there and all kinds of contingencies or maybe deadlines. Do consumers normally get those kinds of documents reviewed by a real estate attorney? I don't think they do. I don't think people do it.
No, not in Colorado, but lot of people rely on their real estate broker to do those sort of things, but real estate brokers are not allowed to practice law and really cannot advise you on a contract.
They can only do that limited practice with the contract itself. They can make up the contract and alter it a bit. But if it gets complicated more than a simple buy-sell, think about this. You're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in real estate versus hundreds of dollars to have it looked at. And I don't mean even that. It's not that difficult to have a contract look at. What is it, an hour?
Yes, I can review a contract in an hour, but typical assistance through closing, helping with due diligence, closing documents, it could be, 3 to 6 hours.
Okay. Yeah. All right, but still a minute amount compared to the cost of that real estate and the future problems.
Yeah, any dispute after closing or a court action would be many times more than the cost of what you would have spent up front.
OLSlaw.com. Let's go to the phones. Okay. Ray was asking why, with a medical power of attorney, his daughter was put into hospice, and then his daughter was drugged, and his daughter eventually passed away. And it was inevitable anyway, but he wants to know, what good is a medical power of attorney? A medical power of attorney is only when someone's incapacitated. It doesn't mean it takes the place of them. But he said he had one other question. Ray, what is your other question?
Well, it wasn't really a question. It was, she chose to give me a medical power of attorney for me to handle all of her medical needs.
That's right, Ray, but not in absence of her. Medical officials will not listen to you over her. I'm sorry, Ray. You were not the boss of your daughter. I'm sorry. She signed to go into hospice. Virgil. What's going on with you, Virgil? What's happening? What's going on, Virgil?
Tom?
Yes.
Tom, I filed an amended return in April of last year. And I haven't got anything back from the IRS yet about it.
When exactly did you file electronically?
The first one I filed electronically. The amended return had to be mailed in.
Okay, so the first filing, did you ever get acknowledgement that was received?
Yes.
When was that?
And I got acknowledgement that the amended return has been received.
Okay, so when was the filed return received?
In April. I think it was the 27th.
April of course, 2021.
Yes.
Then the amended one.
Was for the amended.
Okay.
That was the amended one.
Okay. Never mind. So the amended one was received in April of 2021, and you've not heard anything. Yeah. What were you expecting? A bigger refund or what?
No, well, I have a good refund coming.
So is that what you're waiting for?
Well, yes. I'm waiting for that.
What else do you need to know about it?
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out what I can do now because it's getting close to filing for the 2021 taxes.
You would file it as normal, but we're going to get an expert for you. We're going to get Larson Tax Relief on just to talk about that. They handle tax problems and all kinds of tax questions for us. So hold on, and we'll get someone from Larson Tax Relief on. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Hello, Dee. What's going on?
Hello. I was actually calling to see if you can help me out with a problem that I'm having. Actually, after my ex. He was court ordered for spousal support, and
when was he ordered? When was this divorce decree?
2014.
Okay, divorced in 2014, and that's when it was ordered.
Correct.
And what was he supposed to be paying?
He was supposed to be paying almost $1,300 a month.
And he hasn't done anything?
Well, he actually paid up until recently. Well, not recently. It's been like 2 years now since I received anything. And
oh, my gosh. Well, that, okay, go ahead.
And during the pandemic, we had a court date. And I, of course, it was phone. And so we did the phone. He didn't come. He didn't come to the court time during the phone time. Anyway,
was there
a warrant has been issued.
Okay, that's what I wondered. Okay,
Okay, so a warrant's been issued for his arrest. I'm sure he does know because he did not attend court. So I'm waiting. I guess my question to you is, what is my next step, and what can I do to get him? Now, I'm sure, I'm not going to say guaranteed positive, but I'm sure that there is some sort of income coming in. I just don't know where and how much.
Well, they're going to throw his ass in jail. I mean, I don't know why he's toying with this. This is not a small thing. So he's missed 2 years, plus he's in contempt. I mean,
yes,
that's bad. So you can have him arrested. Do you know where he is? To call the cops.
I did, and apparently they say that they have made, it's only, I guess, 3 attempts that they'll try. And, of course, I'm sure that he's hiding. He does have a vehicle in his name and everything, and I don't.
They should take his license. They take his license, too. Did they take his license?
I'm not sure.
All right, hold on. I want to get Bonnie Shields on. So now Suze is real busy. She's trying to get on Larson, and then we're going to try to get on Bonnie. But these are all important calls, so hang on. Plus, we have our real estate expert, our real estate attorney, Bradley O'Brien, O'Brien Legal Services. That's olslaw.com.
Hey, Brad, you looked over my contracts, right? Your home. Does it pay to have you closing or just?
I would say uncomplicated closings. It sure does, but
this is uncomplicated. I mean,
he'll tell you.
You looked over the contract and it was fine.
Yeah, I routinely find errors that title companies make, and we never get caught.
At title?
Well, I don't go to closings. I review documents a day or two before because the time just to go there.
It's not worth it.
Right. But you don't get the closing documents until closing.
A day or two before.
No, you get it before.
Yeah,
really.
Your real estate person gets it before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can review a set of closing documents in 30 to 60 minutes.
All right.
So, and I think it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, I will do that.
Yeah.
So what's Newmark?
An overnight low of 37.
That's exciting.
Tomorrow, a 30% chance for rain, gusty winds.
I hope she likes it, but we'll see.
Laramie is fun. It's just dead.
Well, no, it's Cheyenne.
Except, okay, Cheyenne's a little better.
It's a little closer to it.
Plus, it's a college. During college, it's fun.
It's a very small law school. It's like under 200 people.
And that's only a few hours.
Hold on, guys.
It's a hell of a lot cheaper than
Let's talk about IV. IV is a hydration therapy, they call it, or IV therapy. Of course, it could be drugs and medication administered as well. But Rocky Mountain IV Medics.com. They come to you with medical professionals, and it's all doctor supervised. They'll give you hydration for vitamins. They'll give you something to help you if you have the flu or pain or a hangover, whatever it is. They'll come to you, your home or your office. They've even met over-the-road truck drivers at truck stops and pilots at airports. I mean, listen, here's the bottom line. Rocky Mountain IVMedics.com, there for you. You can call or text for same-day appointments. I have it done myself. I love it. 720-987-2155. 720-987-2155. You know, when you call a restoration company, you could get ripped off. There's a very good chance. In fact, most of them suck. That's why I truly want you to use the ones we approve. American Restoration 24/7 and Rock and his team are stellar. They're really good at what they do. Now, you may think, well, my insurance takes care of that. Why do I care? Because here's why. We've had people call bad restoration companies for asbestos or mold or broken pipes or something, and it's not done properly, or a sewer backup. And guess what? It's not done properly. It doesn't matter. Your insurance pays once. They say, tough. I'm sorry. Take it up with the company. So please don't make the mistake. Get the right company off the bat to mitigate those losses and to rebuild if you want them to. Rock will do as much or as little as you want. American Restoration 24/7. Here's the number, 8337-AMREST. Put it away for when you need it or recommend it to a friend. First-hand experience, we know these guys do great work. 8337-AMREST online, AMREST Troubleshooter.com.
Brighten your home. And save 10% on Benjamin Moore paint by joining the Guy Reed Loyalty Program. Stop by a store or go to GUIRYS.com to sign up today. Guy Reed, your neighborhood store since 18.
Yeah, 19 years old, man.
Host of the True Crime
She's graduating Metro this semester.
Yeah, she went through fast.
Got out of high school early, a year early, and she was taking college classes during that early year. And then she did all summer, did everything, got her bachelor's in about 2.5 years.
What did you want to do?
PI. She works for Dan Kaplan's right now.
Every attorney wants to do that.
At first, she wanted to do criminal. She actually worked with George Brockler. She went to Colorado State Patrol Youth Academy.
I should say that they usually have loftier goals at first. Then it ends up there.
The money changed quick.
Feast of famine, right?
Or big. Actually, she wouldn't mind getting in with a very big firm as well. That's another thing she's mentioned. Not necessarily PF and corporate.
Pardon me, Brad. This line 1, I don't think it's a problem. I forwarded you the email so you'd have a better understanding of what he wants to talk about, but I assume this is, yeah, it's from Help at Troubleshooter. It should be in your inbox.
If you start soon, you could skip your mortgage payment and could close in as fast as 10 days. So call American Financing at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000 or online AmericanFinancing.net.
NMS 122334, regulated by the Division of Real Estate. What's done more to improve overall health and wellness, modern medicine, or personal hygiene? Actually, it's both. But considering that bathing went mainstream,
her GPA is awesome.
Brushing your
Brad,
teeth in the 1900s, isn't it time for something new, like cleaning
but her
After all,
LSAT,
is the body's air
she got a
dirt and germs. The first line of defense against
155. Does that sound right?
bacteria and viruses from
What is the LSAT? What's the range on the LSAT?
your nose.
You really want, if you have a 160, you're in like Flint. 155 she will get accepted to the majority. I think because she's a female and so young, DU will
and then out the other nostril, flushing out.
Plus her GPA is high as shit. So, but the LSATs were a little tricky for her just because of her age.
LSATs are tricky. You ought to try the bar. Now,
everything's so theoretical.
With the bar test.
Have you tried the bar?
Really? Clean nose, healthy life.
I passed it. But it was in New York like 50 years ago. But it's nothing like, or 40 years ago, nothing like it is now. Well, it was a little like it, but here's the thing that gets me. Like, okay, a question might be like, a child visually impaired is walking with his mom in a store. They give you a scenario, and he breaks away and runs forward. And there's a piece of cheesecake on the floor in the self-serve area. It was flat and slippery.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Welcome to the show, 303-713-TALK. Now, we did have a question. Oh, I saw a real estate question up here. I guess it something about first-time buyers or something.
He hung up, Tom. I'll call him again.
Okay, thanks. I'll get him on as soon as possible. We're trying to get our experts on for people who are waiting. And Jimmy, I don't know. I keep wondering what we can do for you on this one. The Ethos car dealer. As I remember, we didn't find much wrong with the deal, except I don't know, Jimmy. What are we following up this time? I remember the deal, but I don't understand what is going on now. Ethio Motors. It was, I think what I heard was with Ethio Motors. Let me try to get this up. Okay. You bought a GMC Yukon, 195,000 miles. You took it back. They had some problems, and they, where is it now?
Okay, it's at the dealers.
You bought it for $8,100, and they haven't gotten it back to you yet?
No, they're working on it. Remember the last call I had, we were talking to SOS, to Chuck on the phone.
It was Norris at SOS Inspections, and he determined that listen, it was a used truck with 195,000 miles, and they agreed to fix it. What problems did you have that they took it, that they were fixing?
There was a list of items that were. The car was not roadworthy, and they put a
okay, Jimmy, we're gonna stop, bro. Every time we talk, you go through this. The car was roadworthy according to the law. It wasn't running like a new truck. It was 195,000 miles. You're trying to make the case that it was unsafe and they shouldn't have sold it as is. But you're wrong, Jimmy. So I don't know why you keep calling back, because I tell you the same thing every single time. Now, one thing I can say is this. If they took it upon themselves to take it back and fix it, then we should call over there and find out what stage it's in. But I'm not going to sit here and debate with you.
That's all I want.
Okay, we will call over there. But remember, Jimmy, if they say, come and get your truck, we're not going to do anything, they kind of have a right to do that. Can you call once and for all? Have we ever called these people? I can't believe he's called us 6 times, and we haven't assigned this to call someone. I mean, Suze, haven't we given this to somebody to call Ethio Motors? It seems to me we have. I keep repeating this, and Jimmy keeps calling back over and over and over. Here's the deal. He buys a Yukon, 195,000 miles, and he's shocked that there's problems with it. He's shocked. So, they say, we'll fix them. I don't know what they'll fix. For God's sakes, it's an $8,000 truck with 195,000 miles. But once and for all, call over there, please. Don't wait till after the show. Let's call and ask these people at Ethio what they plan to do with Jimmy's truck or give the money back. All right, Jimmy, hold on. 303-713-8255. We're still waiting on 2 of our experts to come on. If we can get them on, we will. And speaking of vehicles, Jim has an extended warranty question. Hey, Jim.
Yes.
What's happening?
I bought my truck about a year and a half ago. Well, not about a year and 3 months ago. And my extended warranty went out.
Yeah.
Now, I'm wondering, they kind of like talked me into getting the the biggest extended warranty that I could.
When did it expire?
It expired about well, my miles went up to 1,000 miles, and it expired.
Okay, so how long ago did it expire?
About maybe 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so what's the problem now?
I bought it at 83. And now my extended warranty, they won't fix anything for me.
You bought it at 83,000 miles?
Yes.
Okay, well, but your extended warranty expired, but did you report these problems before it expired?
No.
What are the problems you're having, Jim?
Well, I'm trying to find out what I can do because they talked me into getting the platinum for 3 years, and they knew that my extended warranty would run out. My miles would run out before my extended warranty.
Well, everyone knows that normally because the miles are spelled out in writing. So they weren't the only ones that knew that. You probably knew that too, right?
Well, I didn't know that no, I didn't.
You thought you were going to get 3 years. You didn't think there was a mileage limit?
Yeah, I didn't think it would run out that fast.
Okay, hold on a second then. Just hold on. I have to go back to someone real quick here because she's an attorney at law that came on to answer a question. Bonnie Shields, attorney at law. Let's bring up D. Now, Bonnie Shields Law, I'll give her number out in a minute here. D says that her husband, her ex-spouse, stopped paying support 2 years ago. He did not show up for a Zoom hearing. A warrant for his arrest was issued, and now she sits. What the heck can she do? Why didn't they take his license? Why didn't they make life difficult for him? He has a car, he has a license, he has a job, and the cops said, we tried to find him, we can't. What do you do in a case like that, Bonnie?
Well, there's a couple of things. Do you know if he pays the child support when he used to pay it through Child Support Services? Because they're the ones that take away licenses.
Oh, actually, it's not child support, is it, D? It's spousal support.
No.
That makes a difference.
That's different. Yes, it is. So what happened? Did you file a motion for contempt, and then he didn't show for the hearing? Is that how the bench warrant came out?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the other thing that you can do, if he really has a job and works, you can take the amount of money that he owes, including statutory interest, which I think is 8%, and you can ask the court to reduce that to a judgment. So you have a piece of paper that says judgment for spousal support. It'll only go for, from when he started missing payments to right now, so it won't include the future stuff. But you can then garnish his wages. If he has a job, if he's working under the table, then you can't do it. But if he has a job with an employer, you can just garnish his wages to fulfill that judgment.
Okay, so then I would still go through the court, correct, in order to get that judgment placed on him?
Yes, the judge will sign off. You have to file a motion for a judgment, saying he owes me all this money and he hasn't paid. There's a warrant out for his arrest. Please, judge, sign this judgment. Judge, there's not really a reason for the judge not to sign it. And then with that judgment, then you have to file paperwork to garnish somebody's wages. And you can do the wage garnishment and collect what's on that judgment. Then you might have to do another judgment for, what's built up in the meantime. The police, when there's just a bench warrant out, they don't have the time or resources to go searching people down for that. They're only going to catch them if they happen to pull them over for something else.
So a judgment would help, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, she can collect on it now. And that doesn't stop the bench warrant. So if she gets that judgment and he's still behind and he hasn't satisfied it, well, then if he gets pulled over for for a traffic offense or something, he's probably going to be hauled into jail because there's a warrant out.
Plus,
meanwhile, she could start getting some of that money through a judgment.
Okay.
Now,
yeah, and so that's.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Dee.
I'm just, I'm not sure if he's working under the table. That's my other problem. I'm not sure, but that's the part I need to do. So what I'm going to do is do this motion of judgment.
Yeah, do that. That's right. You get a judgment, and it's not even hard. They'll give you a judgment. Once you get that judgment, even call us back, and we have a collection attorney that we can talk to that has ideas on collecting judgments. Bonnie Shields Law, thank you. 303-798-1927.
Now, Impact Traffic. This report is sponsored by Rocket Mortgage.
A couple areas of construction slowing right now. We're seeing that on northwestbound C470 as you work your way past Kipling, heading up towards Ken Carroll. A few brake lights through there. And also in Douglas County, southbound I-25 between Toma Road and Spruce Mountain Road, there's some construction slowing. But the rest of I-25 is moving along quite well for you right now. No slow traffic between 225 and the Boulder Turnpike. Fox 31 pinpoint weather. Dry today, a high of 67. Tonight, low 37. And then for tomorrow, gusty winds, a 30% chance for rain, and a high of 59. Currently, it's 55. With your Impact Traffic and Weather, I'm Chris McLaughlin.
Hey, Bob. This is Tom.
When you apply for a home loan,
Good.
there are different options depending on your situation and
be
needs.
back
With
to you
Rocket
next
Mortgage,
hour,
you can see how different down payments, monthly
All right,
payments, and closing costs will impact your loan and your budget. When you need a lender who works for you, Rocket can.
Let's talk about John Fuller. Fuller Law. Listen, when you get injured, you really get one shot at this. Don't go to a law firm just because they advertise how big and bad they are and how much money they get. You know what they're doing? They're aggregating leads and picking the cream of the crop. You need someone who will talk to you as a person and let you know honestly what they think about your case. And then if John Fuller takes it, he will tenaciously fight for you. He'll give you his cell phone. You'll have full access to him and his staff. John Fuller. Yeah, first, have your case evaluated free of charge. He'll talk about it. He'll do it. You know, here's the thing. You need someone who will pay attention. My accident lawyer can be your accident lawyer. He's our expert. He can be yours at myaccidentlawyer.co. Stands for Colorado. myaccidentlawyer.co. 303-597-4500. Smaller by design. 303-597-4500. And speaking of attorneys who will give free initial consultations, Joe Lazzara for criminal charges of all kinds, including DUIs. Now, you can avoid a DUI. We know all that. Please try to do that. There's still going to be people who get caught in the system and they need help. You can never do it alone. Don't shop under pressure. Joseph A. Lazzara, free initial consultations and then flat rate pricing. 303-429-6200. Look for Joe Lazzara on my referral list at referrallist.com. 303-429-6200. One of the finest I've ever heard of is the liquid loan. Okay, what is it? Well, it pays off your first, so it becomes your loan. But it's a first deed of trust line of credit. Here's how it works. After it pays off your first, it sits there, and you can choose to pay only simple interest if you want. That means a very low payment every month. Or, and by the way, if you're only staying in your house 3 or 4 or 5 years, that's all you should pay. Make your payments as low as possible. But let's say you want to pay your principal down. You can. Anytime you want. And you can pay as much as you want. And if you need more money, you can borrow more depending on your equity. It's a 30-year line of credit with simple interest. You can't do better than the liquid loan. Only from Affordable Interest Mortgage, 720-895-0500. And that's theliquidloan.com, 720-895-0500.
There are lots of places to get national news, but for the local stories that affect you most,
a lot of equity. Maybe you don't even have a mortgage at all right now.
Yeah, but, or if you do have a mortgage, you'll pay off that, but you usually have more money you can borrow. But you can pay it down quicker if you want. And you can take, or not, or just do interest. If people are going to move in 5 years, why don't they bother advertising?
Real quick, Plantinga is available. Do you want to get through LEM first before I get Plantinga one?
And that's what I'm call today to book your free consultation and free blood flow evaluation. 1-800-210-8181. Peak performance for men helps over 80% of men who receive the treatment experience long-term improvement. Let the experts at Peak Performance for Men help you get back to. All it takes is one phone call for a free consultation. Free blood flow evaluation. Call 1-800.
Jimmy bought his car on Wednesday.
That's 1-800.
He said they've had it there a long time.
He bought it on Wednesday, which means Thursday and Friday. Today,
He's called me.
So I said, did you call them to ask them? He said, no. I said, well, call them and find out when. It's only been 2 days. I said, call me back and let me know what they say.
Jesus Christ. And you know what? He's going to call back again, and I'm going to say, did we call him?
I gave him my number to call.
God almighty.
It's only been in shop for 2 days.
PlumlineServices.com. It's a metaphor for your business and product. Sometimes it feels like the world is throwing everything it has at you. And to succeed, you need someone to guide you through. Trust with Dell Technologies Advisor. They have the leaders, PCs, and terabytes to help you navigate whatever challenges you're up against and get you safely to where you want to be. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Man, I went to get a haircut yesterday, so I always go to the sports clip. Actually, it was Saturday. So you got to log in, and you get in line on their app. They close at like 7 o'clock, okay? Yeah. At 2 o'clock, the app said, there's so many fucking people, I'm paraphrasing, you cannot get a haircut today. 5 fucking hours.
What place was that?
Sports Clips in Castle Rock. 5 hours. He can't wait and get a haircut. I wonder if they were low on people, or if there's just that many people. Did you see Estelle died? Estelle Costanza?
Yeah. Yes.
She's 93.
I did see it. I loved her. Oh my God. She was
I can't believe it. I walk into the bathroom and my son's using himself like an amusement park.
Oh, she was so funny. What I loved about the two of them is they start out talking and then within 30 seconds,
they're arguing.
Oh my God. Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Waterpros.net, the best at the lowest prices ever. That's waterpros.net for under sink, full drinking water. Doesn't even require any electricity, triple filter, reverse osmosis, under $1,000, fully installed, never buy bottled water again. Waterpros.net. Okay, so listen, I want to talk with Jim. I haven't forgotten about you and your extended warranty, but I want to touch bases with Bob Montoya. He's on our referral list at referrallist.com, LEM or LEM Landscape. Do you call it LEM or do you call it LEM, Bob?
LEM Landscape.
Now, LEM Landscape, the reason you're on with landscape and concrete, this is your season. And you probably work all year, don't you? But in Colorado, do you get to work?
Pretty much.
Okay. But this is the season, though, Bob, where people call you and they want to be done yesterday, right? So what I want to know is, how are things going? Are you starting to get the rush?
Oh yeah, we're booked all the way to June.
Oh my goodness.
We have a 95% referral rate. We've been doing this a long time, and we do things a lot different than any other companies can.
Okay, how do you do it differently?
So the first thing is we make sure all of our guys have been with us 28 years. They're all trained. One thing we do is every company out there marks up all their material costs.
Yeah.
We save them a minimum of 45% because we don't mark up anything. We'll even let them pay the suppliers.
Wait
That's
a minute,
big
Bob. Bob, that is so special. I don't even think you know how special that is. Honest to God, you totally pass along material costs.
Yes.
And
absolutely. We'll give them the receipts, or I should say the invoices. I'll call and get pricing. They email it to me. I email it to the customer. The customer's like, we saved one lady $7,500 on her retaining wall block.
All right, listen, LEM Landscape and Concrete, you want to save money, they just pass materials along to you and only charge you for labor. They've been with them 28 years, most of his employees. 303-564-9104. 564-9104. This is landscaping season, folks. Don't get ripped.
I think Park It Right, maybe just have them in 1 hour tops, right?
Yeah, we'll schedule for an hour. If you get really popular, we'll keep
it. He ain't going to get popular.
At least not on the...
Well, he will if that bill passes.
If that bill passes...
I wonder if they're going to go out of business.
That's what I was about to say.
Well, there's a bill in the legislature about towing companies that they have to give you a 24-hour notice before they tow your car. And if you can't pay, when you go to pick up your car, you just say, I can't pay, and they have to give you your keys. So who's going to be in your towing business? Like Mark said, say you want to go somewhere in the Pepsi Center. You just park in any lot.
Park at Burger King.
Like you're there for 4 hours, they put a sticker on, and then you're gone.
And then it's worse than that. Right. Every impound yard has to have a sign, and if you can't afford it, and there's no test to this, if you simply state you can't afford to pay, they have to give you your car back. And you got to put a sign up saying that.
Streaming live on our free iHeartRadio app.
So from now on, when I go to the airport, I'm just going to park somewhere illegally. They'll eventually tow me. Then I'll get my car back for free.
I'll let you borrow that car that's out there. That way you won't have to worry about it.
It's fucking crazy, man.
It makes no sense.
We got to help these guys. We got to do a no-fly zone or something.
Found its way to the U.S.-Mexican border.
We can't do no fly. You know that.
Okay, so I don't even want to get into it, Doc. I don't know that. I think it's crazy we're not.
You want to have
Fuck the Russians.
You want to have.
How about if they just start lining people up and fucking cutting their heads off one by one? How about if concentration camps open up again over there? We still. At what point do we actually say we can't allow genocide to happen? I thought after World War II we fucking all agreed on that.
There are already detentions.
Why? Do you really want Russian pilots and American pilots shooting each other?
I don't think a Russian pilot can hit our shit.
Where can I print something out, Mark?
Email it to me and I'll go print it out in the office if you want.
Oh wait, can I get my office printer from here?
I don't know if you ever loaded the printer up on there.
No, I did.
Yeah, then you could print. Sure, you're under network.
Yeah, I am right now. So good. So I wanted to print.
Where do you look at this shit, Doc? Where do you draw the lines here, man? They're pulling bodies out where people's ears have been ripped off.
Is ours a brother's? Mark, is ours a brother? Is that what we have? No, wait. Do we have a brother printer? Which printer is that one?
Is it a brother, HP? I think it's a brother.
Okay, Mark. That Dave Terry guy from Florida. I guess he heard you talking about him last week on the air and he wants to come on and defend himself.
Who is he?
He's the one who called wanting a meeting with Tom.
You're the one.
To talk about from Florida, the one that has the investment something or another.
Oh, the one that says he can't talk about anything.
Yeah.
It's all top
And he goes,
secret.
I'm trying to call the show, but it must be busy. I said, yeah. He goes, well, I've listened to the podcast. I feel like I need to defend myself. I said, that'll have to be on air. Dave Terry,
He's the one you
from
asked.
Florida.
He said there's ways that you can even.
I didn't say anything bad about him.
Mark did.
He's saying there's ways you can take property and do an exchange
without an
to art. Yes, you can change your housing to art because that's life. But he can't talk about
I'm
how.
guessing it's way too far. If you
But I'm on
send it
the
to
network.
me,
Okay, I'll send it.
send it to me and I'll print it. Because I can print it remote in and print it.
Have him come on so I can quiz him.
I'm sending it to you right now.
Okay, I've got a lot going on this second, but yeah, I will.
Sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
K-How News Time, 11:03.
Colorado business leaders expressing a drop in confidence regarding their outlook on the national and state economy. That's according to the latest Confidence Index report from CU's Leeds School of Business. The economist Dr. Richard Wabakin says that there are multiple reasons for that.
Really don't know if we're over with COVID, right? We could see another strain, but also the uncertainty relating to Russia and Ukraine.
Other major concerns of Colorado business leaders.
Well, we can't keep people out of our control.
Late night drivers will encounter lane closures on I-25.
We gotta control
beginning tonight. The Colorado Department of Transportation says overnight closures will happen on both sides of the interstate between South Academy Boulevard and Santa Fe Avenue through the end of the week. The closure is part of the military access.
But seriously, Doc, at what point do you just
additional lane closures?
Fuck, man, I don't know. At what point? I don't know the answer.
I don't know either.
For emergency pothole
but I don't think we can do it unilaterally.
I'm Chad Bauer.
It's got to be either the UN or NATO. It can't be the US.
And Europe's still buying oil and shit from them. And
25 is moving along without any delay. Nothing I can warn you about there as far as any spots to avoid as you work your way between Northland and Castle Rock. 225, same situation. I-70 traffic moving well. They do have some road.
What did you make of that guy that said, oh, you can do the exchanges for art or for whatever? I mean, but yet then he can't talk about it because it's all top secret.
Right.
What the fuck is that?
Well, what are you supposed to say?
I mean, the IRS, everything I read is pretty straightforward. It says for life. Now, I guess if you can make the argument to the IRS, a Rembrandt is equal to an apartment complex.
I live on the Rembrandt.
When
well,
you apply for a loan, there are different options depending on your situation.
He won't. That was it. He said he can't come on the air and talk about it.
Monthly payments and closing costs will impact your loan and your budget. When you need a lender who works for you, Rocket can.
God hail David. Call Accelerate 303-761-6400.
Hey guys, there is some important news that all men should take very seriously. Your prostate health. Are you urinating more frequently? Are you waking up at night to urinate? Getting tired of prostate pills that just don't work? Sound familiar?
If you are one of the millions of men with prostate
Have you ever played that digital golf shit where you hit into the big screen?
Oh, yeah. My buddy has one of those. I mean, a golf simulator.
We tried it over at by Landmark. There's a company.
It's expensive, though.
Fuck yeah, it is. It was $100 for both of us.
And I suck at
And it was only for 90 minutes. I mean, you can play a round of golf for that, basically.
Yeah. Like I said, my buddy has one in his basement. It's great. You know, they're like 50 different courses you can try it on.
800-600-2020.
I didn't like it. The putting was very hard.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Take advantage of our 90-day money-back guarantee. Call 800-600-2020.
I wonder, how much did your buddy spend on it?
Oh,
it's the Dan Cow
I don't know.
Afternoons 4 to 6.
It's in 5 digits, I'm sure.
Gals smoke in the U.S. House of Representatives voting to legalize marijuana nationally. But what America look like in 5 years if that fatal mistake was made? Join me at 4.
He hates it.
Oh, he hates marijuana.
I think almost, over half the states are legal now.
Yeah.
At least medical. Where'd you go to law school, Brad?
Loyola, Chicago.
Where?
Loyola, Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Good Jesuit
Is that where you were
school.
born? Are you from
I'm in
Chicago?
Oklahoma. But I lived in Chicago for 12 years after.
Hi, Tom Martino here. Welcome to the show. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. This hour brought to you by RealCBDThatWorks.com. Get your CBD, real CBD that works, and get 30% off with Tom in the promo code. CBD is great for anxiety, pain, inflammation. They even have a cosmetic line now. It's wonderful. RealCBDThatWorks.com. Okay, so we have Kevin, who has a question for Brad O'Brien, our real estate attorney today, OLSlaw.com. Brad is here. Brad, Kevin, go ahead, sir.
Oh, hi. I'm a little concerned about something that happened in our life recently. We're an older couple. We're around 60 years old. We have our own house in Longmont, and my partner fell for a cold call that he received from a realtor saying, we have a check for you. We've made so much money in real estate in the last few years that we're willing to give you money in exchange for you signing a contract to let us be your agent if and when you decide to sell your home. He received a cold call on a Friday a few weeks ago. The very next morning, we had a notary agent with 2 contracts to sign. I was unaware of it. And when I looked at the contract, it's a 40-year agreement with a lot of caveats, and it allows this company to place a lien on your title. So even if you decide to sell the property, even if you give them 6 months.
Brad, would that be unconscionable? 40-year deal?
No, wait a minute. But what are they offering for that?
That you sign up, they'll give you a check now, which is like 10% of the eventual 6%. You know, so if it's $30,000 commission on an $800,000 house, you'll get $3,000 now, and that's what it was all about. It was all about, this will make you could use this money now, right?
Okay, so now you get the money. They're basically loaning it to you or giving it to you?
No, they're giving it to you, but you agree that when you sell that house, no matter what, in the next 40 years,
you pay them.
They are going to be the ones selling it and getting the commission.
So they're buying customers.
Yeah, they call it relationship building. But
well, hold on. But really, hold on. Now, let's just say Frank Duran offered that. I'd do it in a heartbeat. So it's not automatically bad. And by the way, Frank Duran is not doing that. But I'm saying it's not automatically bad that someone says, we're going to give you $3,000 right now because we want to be your real estate person in the future.
It's the 40 years that I don't.
Well, I don't even know. Is 40 years legal? I guess it is, right?
Sure. It's not a lien. That's a covenant that goes against the title of your house.
Well, you know, if you're a Scientologist.
But what if they're not around? What happens?
Well, covenants and other things that are part of the title of your house go to the successors and assign. So you die.
But I can see where this could be complicated, where they don't have a successor or an assign, and now you're frozen and you don't know what to do.
Well, it is a problem. That
it could cloud the title.
Yes, exactly.
What would you do if a company, and I've seen it, where liens are on a house or judgments or something where you can't find the people? I've seen it, that people have called this show. In fact, we may have called you about it. What do you do? How do you clear it up?
If you cannot locate them, you have to go to court and have the lien or whatever it is extinguished from title judicially.
Well, if your heirs aren't aware of it, and then you go and
well, it's on the. It'll show up in a. It's actually no. It's actually, bro. It's actually recorded. So when they go to do a title search of any kind, they're going to see it. They're going to say, "Wait a minute, you need to call so and so. You owe them money."
Geez, and imagine what that.
What is the remedy?
Looks like. Like, can you sell it for any amount, or do you have to hold out for what
now,
they want?
This is what I want to know. What is the remedy? If they give you $3,000 now, what is the remedy? I mean, what I'm asking is, what do they want? If in exchange for listing, what else? Or do you owe them a certain amount? Or if they find out you sold the house, I don't know. What does the contract really say?
If you sell the house, if you get another broker, or you sell the house, or you privately sell it, that's an early termination fee, problem for them, and you have to give them at least 3% of the value of the house.
Oh my God, the value, not even the sales.
You're calling because you're smart and you didn't do it, right?
I didn't do it. I said, they're not giving, they're buying a right to our property for 40 years.
Well, they're not buying a right to your property. They're buying a right.
Things were like,
well, it is
elderly people were in the hospital, the heirs wanted to sell the house, and they had to pay this company off just to release the lien so they could sell the house.
Well, if you drop dead and your estate.
And I just think it's kind of shady. I think it's shady. We have an oral agreement with the guy that we bought the house, who facilitated the realtor here in our town in Colorado, who knows our local market. And now this company who's not in our town is cold calling.
Yeah, but Kevin, you don't have a contract. You don't have a contract with that real estate person that sold you the house.
No, but it says in here that even an oral agreement.
Well, oral agreements in real estate don't hold up anyway, period.
Not
Done.
in Colorado.
This guy sends me calendars and pumpkins and contacts us once a year to see how we're doing, building a relationship.
But you know what, Kevin, you bring up a really good point, man. I hope people don't do it, because it does muddy the title. There's no reason to do it. I mean, $3,000, it's better to go out and get a line of credit for $3,000.
And how do they define the value of that house if you do sell it? Because they didn't say the purchase price, they said the value. So if I signed up with them and sold my house to Tom for $1, I wouldn't owe him 3% of $1.
But think about,
3%
guys,
whatever.
Because they're saying what they're really doing is crazy, because they're giving him $3,000, and do you know how much interest they're making on that $3,000 if he has to pay them 3% of the value of the house? I mean, come on.
It's all written in the contract. It's written in what the eventual.
Who are the real estate people? Who are the real estate people offering this?
It's a company called MV Realty.
Can you give Suze the number off the air? Maybe we'll ask them if they want to come on and talk about it. Thank you very much. That's a really good topic. 303-713-8255. All right, Bob Montoya is with LEM Landscape and Concrete. I had some text to the show that wanted to address a few things. You said that they can have the materials delivered right to their house, pay them directly, or pay you, but you'll show them receipts. You don't mark up materials at all. Most landscapers mark them up about 40%, so you're saving people right off the bat. That's wonderful. Now, someone wants to know, does that go for concrete too?
Okay, so here's the thing with our concrete. No companies warranty the concrete. Usually if they do, it's workmanship, which means nothing. We helped several homeowners sue their concrete companies last year. We actually warranty the concrete. Concrete's always done by the square foot. Concrete is going up like you cannot believe. So you want to make sure you have a warranty. You want to make sure rebar is used, a good concrete, soil compaction be done correctly, which usually it's not. People could go on our Facebook page, everybody posts there, and read and see what customers say and the concrete work. We do amazing concrete work, and we stand behind it.
All right, so
our warranty is 1 year.
Okay.
If you get a crack, we know that can happen. But what we don't ever want to see it starting to widen. If that ever would happen, we would come out and remove it, which we've never had to do, because you can't fix it to look like it should be. So that's why we warrant it. That's why we do so much concrete.
LEM Landscaping and Concrete on the referral list. I just want to ask another question. Another text asks, is it too soon to sod?
No.
When is the earliest you can sod? I'm curious now.
Well, the sod about 2 weeks ago was fertilized. A lot of it's still dormant, but now that the grass is starting to green up, I would give it another couple weeks so that once you turn your system on, you can go ahead and take care of it. I teach people how to water right because nobody waters right. They water way too long. They water wrong. Most of the systems that you see aren't even right. They see them spraying, but they can't figure out why the grass doesn't do good. So we do a free evaluation on your system, which everybody else charges for, to make sure you know why your grass is doing what it's doing. We train you how to do your clock. We do a lot of things at no charge to customers because we think customer service has to be the best. You have to have somebody you can rely on 100%. If they call me, I'm going to call them back. I'm going to try to help them. I've helped a lot of people not spend a penny just by teaching them on the phone how to fix a problem they have.
Now, Bob, do you do only at LEM Landscape and Concrete? Do you do only new builds? Not new builds, but like
no.
Installation, or do you do service and maintenance too?
No, we won't do maintenance. That's. I'm going to be honest with you. That is not a money-making process anymore. Like it used to be. There's too many people that do it.
Okay, but you will do the installation and then service your installation.
Absolutely.
All right, 303-564-9104. Did you have another question, Mark?
No, the MV Realty deal, though. I just looked it up.
Oh, hold on, Bob. I just want to LEM Landscape. Look for them on our referral list of referrallist.com. Now, coming back, you want to talk about what?
Well, I looked up MV Realty.
Yeah.
And really, there's not much to talk about. It is marketing just for loans. It's an alternative to a loan. They'll give you between $300 and $5,000 if you need cash, and you agree to let them sell your house when you sell it. They don't market it any other way. It's if you need money and have bad credit and own a house, they'll do this for you. So they're actually marketing it for what it is, but it's not a loan.
It's deceptive.
Their website's really not deceptive. It's saying, hey, if you have bad credit, can't get a loan, and you have to have cash, and you own a house, we'll give you money up front, but we get to sell your house.
But you know what, Mark? If they were Scientologists, they'd have to sign a billion-year contract. 4 years, right? Did you know that? When you join Scientology, you sign a billion-year contract.
If I take that loan and then use it and pay it back.
Let's talk about Century RV. Yes, it's an RV dealer in north of Denver at the exit 240 turnoff. And what you'll find along Frontage Road there on the east side is CentryRV.com. They will buy your used RV because they have so many people looking for used RVs, or they'll give you excellent trade values. They also have extraordinary deals on new units. They're not price hiking just because of supply chain. They are taking care of you. So go to Century RV if you're looking for new or used. That's CentryRV.com, 303-453-1111. Public Insurance Adjusters of Colorado, the people that we know and trust to help you with your insurance claim. I'm just going to give you the lowdown right now. If you have an insurance claim, you simply can't trust your insurance company, unfortunately, or their adjusters to give you a fair deal. You may not even have enough to finish. You need someone to fight for you. They'll look at your claim free of charge, whether it be from the fire, fringe of the fire like ash and soot, or it might be a broken pipe, or it might be some other wind or hail damage. Whatever it is, even claims that have recently been closed, they will look at them free of charge to make sure you're treated fairly, and they'll tell you what they can do. And if they say they can take it, they will get you more than you ever can on your own. Public Insurance Adjusters of Colorado, it's coclaims.com. 720-715-0000, coclaims.com.
If you're a business owner, whether it's brick and mortar or online, and you accept credit...
Recorded interest makes it extremely low risk for every deal. Once they have something recorded against your house, they got you.
Period. End of story.
Yeah, just like HOAs. You know, $100 fine.
You know what you do?
Oh, have you heard about all those foreclosures?
Yeah, and that's,
What do you think?
I thought for years that
Out the HOA.
it's unfair how $100 fine for leaving your trash can out can get split up to a $10,000 lien against your house with attorney fees and all that.
And then they have super lien potential. Like, that's fucking crazy.
$1,000 when they sign up for Newsbreak's brand new email newsletter at iHeart.com/newsbreak.
There's such a good argument on both sides, though.
Delivered straight to your inbox every morning.
I agree with you. You leave your trash can out one time or something, that's one thing, but there's people that got cars and shit that aren't supposed to be around. That shit's not cool. You go to their house and your neighbor's got a couch in his fucking front yard. That shit just doesn't work.
Or a bunch of trailers hanging off of the back of a bunch of trucks.
Yep.
Well, you can enforce those things. They don't necessarily have to be a lien against your house.
Right.
Now, the dues are always going to be a lien against your house.
Yeah.
Assessment dues, special assessments. But these little fines, in my opinion.
No, it's crazy. That kind of goes back to that whole towing thing we were talking about Friday, though. Like, you know, you park your car in the wrong spot in your apartment complex, your car gets towed. You have the towing fee, let's say it's $500. Then if you let a day or two go by, you owe another couple hundred. I mean, it's $700. You're paycheck to paycheck. Can't get your car. I mean, snowball. So I mean, is it legal? Yes. I mean, is it a fair system? But let's say it's a condo and some asshole keeps parking in your spot that you own and you pay for. I sure don't want to have to give him a 24-hour notice to get the fuck out of my spot.
Americans don't trust big media.
He would have to buy new tires.
He has to buy brand new tires.
Plug in on all major cable systems or download the free Newsmax app on your phone. Millions are watching Newsmax and the Newsmax team.
I'd call my buddy JJ up and just have his vehicle towed.
Every code, right? Steve Field and Rob Schmidt. Plus,
put it in front of a meter downtown. Call it over.
Wendy Bell. 20 million people have made the switch to Newsmax. Try it. You may never go back.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Clear
What kind of
skies
bike
will be
is
sometime
getting
by
out
this
in
afternoon
Malibu?
with temperatures today in the upper 60s.
What's that?
A little bit of a breeze right around 10 to 20.
20 grand a month. It was on Fox this morning. His rent in his Malibu house is 20.
Who's that?
Hunter. Oh. And then the Secret Service have to rent a place near him, and their place is 30.
Denver's talk station. Online at khout.com.
So it's not even a drop.
But they, you know what, they used to bitch about, you know, Trump would have Secret Service staying in his own hotel.
It's not even a drop in the bucket.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Welcome to the show. Man, there's a lot going on. So, in any case, we do have Larson Tax Relief on. To go back to Virgil. Virgil, you had a question. We're going to bring up Michael Plantinga from Larson Tax Relief, larsontaxrelief.com, and they handle tax problems. This is not really a big problem, but it is an inquiry that I think deserves answering. Michael, thank you for being here. Virgil, Virgil filed an amended return, and he filed that in April of 2021. He's wondering what to do now because he hasn't gotten his refund or anything associated with it, and it's time to file 2021 taxes. So the April amendment he filed last year was for 2020. So what should he do?
The best thing for him to do, Tom, is to definitely proceed with filing his 21. If he wants, he can file an extension. He has until April 18th to do so. But he might as well just proceed with e-filing 21.
Why the 18th?
I'm not sure. That's the date that the IRS has been giving. I mean, I still recommend to my clients to file by the 15th.
Yeah, I just never heard the 18th.
I would do it by the 15th.
I'm a tax baby, man. Now I'm not if they moved it to the 18th. That sucks.
Okay, this is Virgil. I'll go on ahead and take and do my 2021 taxes, and because nothing has been cleared up yet for 2020, can I file those electronically, or do I have to mail them in?
You can definitely file 2021 electronically, Virgil, and I would urge you to do so.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know, just my 2 bits worth on this thing, I've learned in this. I will never, ever, ever, ever file an amended return that is totally, really, within change or whatever.
Well,
I would pay the difference.
You really have to file amended returns if you want to get more money and you neglected to put things down you should have, or you underreported. You have to, Virgil.
I know, but I think I just should let the IRS come and clip me on the thing, and that they can wait all of this time.
What do you think, Michael? Do amended returns spoil? Do they clutter it up a bit?
They do. The IRS always takes a little longer to process amended returns. A year is a long time. I would still want to confirm that they actually received it. But yeah, the IRS takes generally about 6 to 8 months to process them.
Oh, man.
That was before COVID, though. So it may be normal right now, but he may want to just confirm they got it.
Now, I don't know if you know, Michael, listen to this one. I got a notice one time about underreporting something. It was stupid. It was a 1099. It was reported, but I don't want to get into it. It was reported, but it was in a lump sum business, as opposed to individually reporting the 1099s. So, in other words, gas and oil income was put in a gas and oil company, let's say, that I have. Yet they wanted to find each and every 1099 for gas and oil income, but they didn't know how to match the lump sum I reported to the individual 1099s. So, you see what I'm saying, right? So, what they said was, there's a penalty due because I had all of these 1099s unreported. That's what they said. And I said, no, they're not they're not reported. They're reported in that lump sum. So here's what they allowed me to do. They actually suggested it. They said, instead of facing a penalty, just amend the return and do it the right way. Is that unusual that they would say that?
No, it's not unusual. It's generous that they offered that as a solution, but just be prepared for it to take a while for them to get through the processing of that return.
Okay. Now, Michael, why is it, though, that people in business, a lot of people in business get 1099s, business to business 1099s, etc., but they keep their books? They don't necessarily detail each 1099. Are we expected to do that?
I think generally we are, yes, but I don't have enough information to.
No, I understand what you're saying. I mean, my accountant said from now on, instead of doing your lump sum reporting as a business, just report the business and just dump all the 1099s in it, and don't bother keeping your own track of it, because they don't care. They actually don't care. They care more about 1099 matching than they do what you actually made.
I would agree with that. You just want to make sure you keep copies of all the 1099s you send off to them.
Yeah, that's a good idea. 303-713-TALK. Now, to get a hold of Larson for any questions, problems, complaints that you have with the IRS, meaning if they're coming after you or audits or stuff like that, it's 844-LARSON-TAX. 844-LARSON-TAX. They're really a big help to us. Thank you, Michael. And we have more to talk about. Joe has a hearing coming up on child custody we just heard about. We just heard about a similar problem with child support. No, that was spousal maintenance. Never mind. We had Bonnie Shields on. Maybe we get her on for this. Joe, talk about this child custody issue you have coming up.
Yes, sir. So in January, me and my son's mom were issued to do a mediation. We did last year we were issued to do a mediation. We did the first mediation. It didn't go through. My son's mom was acting kind of crazy about it. So we ended up having to issue another mediation. I live in Texas. My son and his mom and his sister live in Colorado and Aurora. So we tried to do the mediation. I wasn't in agreement with what she was stipulating. She was stipulating that I only had custody of my son 52 days out of the year, and she gets them the rest of the time. So when we had court in January, I told the judge that I wasn't happy with the mediation outcome. I refused to sign the mediation document, and I submitted my own motion to get custody of my son. Because right now, his mother and him and his sister stay in a hotel room. She's been in that hotel room for 9 months now. She works at Labor Ready.
So you were unhappy with the bottom line, though, Joe. When you submitted your own motion, what happened?
She told me that she didn't need the motion because there was already a motion in place. That was just another redundant motion. And she issued a CFI investigation to happen.
Yeah, and here's the problem.
That is where,
you got to pay for that.
that's where the issue's coming in at. We submitted the paperwork to do the indigent aspect of it. And I don't know how me or my son's mom do not qualify for it. She's on every acronym of welfare there is out there in Colorado: TANF, DCAP, SNAP, Medicaid, anything and everything. It's her 2 kids, and she got denied assistance. I'm here in Texas, and I know she's making minimum wage. She's working at the Labor Ready. I make decent money here in Texas. I'm a machinist. I make about $19 an hour right now. But it's me and my girlfriend and our newborn son. We filed the paperwork to have the assistance done with it. For some reason, the judge would not give us a reason for why she denied the assistance. All it said was that the assistance for the CFI investigation was denied. Then we had like 2 weeks to come up with it's $1,400 each of us to get the CFI investigation started.
Okay, hold on. What happens? What happens if you don't have a CFI? It'll revert to the mediated settlement.
Well, no, because the mediation wasn't agreed on. And I guess that's part of my question is I had an email from the CFI investigator who's a lawyer out there in Colorado. I didn't know lawyers could do it. I thought it was part of social services, but I guess CFI is whoever the judge sees that has a CFI documentation's done, and that's what they say.
So what's your question? What's your question?
I guess my question is one, so not only do I have to come up with the $1,400, so the judge, we were supposed to have court this, I think it was April 13th. I put in a request for a continuation for 90 days. It got approved. Now we have it July 5th. But we both know that we have to have the CFI investigation done prior to that. I don't have the $1,500 needed to initiate the CFI investigation. Then because I live in Texas, I have to pay an additional amount for the CFI investigator to fly out here.
Oh my gosh.
A hotel room, to rent a car, to have food. So now I got to come up with essentially $3,000 in 2 months.
Well, Joe, in mediation, why didn't you come up with a settlement? Tell me what the hang up was.
My son's mom pretty much does it. So I was incarcerated for the first 5 years of my son's life. And during that 5 years, when he was 2, she got caught up using meth. And our son was removed from the house. Up until then, she kept playing games with me. She kept,
Joe, I didn't know. Joe. What I asked was, what did the mediator suggest for child custody arrangements or visitation?
So that was what the mediation was about, and he wasn't able to.
So nothing. You guys did not come up with a settlement. You said you disagreed with what they came up with. Well, that means that they came up with something.
It was an agreement between me and her, and the most I could get out of her for visitation is 52 days a year.
Okay.
That was the most she was allowing me to have my son. I'm allowed to have him for either Thanksgiving or Christmas, and then all of June. That's it. And then it's his decision, because he's 7 years old, I try to let him make as much decisions as he can when it comes to his parents. For 4th of July, that's his decision if he wants to stay with me for 4th of July or if he wants to fly back to Texas or Colorado and spend 4th of July with his mother.
Right, Joe.
So I could potentially have an extra week.
Okay, Joe, listen. It's a real problem, and I'll tell you why. If you don't have money for a child investigator, okay, a family child investigator, they will make the own decision without you. without your input. So you're going to leave it up to a judge. There's no other way around it.
Well, I'm trying. Look, so at my shop now, I work Monday through Thursday, 6 o'clock to 4:30.
Joe.
So I went out of my way, and I go to, well, that's what I'm trying to say. I actually picked up an extra job, working Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Joe, I understand the concern, but what I'm saying is that they will not allot parenting time. They will, but they're going to do it on their own. And, I don't know what happens. We have to ask, can we get Harris on? Let's get Harris Family Law on. Hold on, and we'll ask an attorney for you that has handled this before.
I mean, I don't know what to tell him if he can't afford to have a family job.
630 KHOW, an iHeartRadio station, available everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. Now, Impact
Money, the great enabler and deterrent.
Sponsored by Indeed.com.
Traffic on
Money,
southbound
great enabler and a great
is
deterrent.
slowing as you work your way between
Well, the
58th
lack of
Avenue and your approach to I-70. A report of some debris
your
on the
microphone's
roadway.
getting
Not
up.
sure
Who's the
where
Bentley
it is.
Bath guy? What the fuck was his name, George?
In addition, you have a right lane closure
Who?
westbound
Bentley Bath.
70 approaching Ken Carroll. That is road maintenance going on there. Fox 31, 10-point weather, partly cloudy, dry, a high of 67 today. An overnight low of 37, and then for tomorrow, gusty winds, a 30% chance for rain with a high of 59. Currently, it's 60. With your Impact Traffic and Weather, I'm Chris McLaughlin. 6:30, hey how.
If April is showering your company with open job positions, check out Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates, all in one place. Sponsor your first job today and get hiring by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
Let's talk about Genesis Total Exteriors. If you're looking for home improvements outside from the roof, gutters, siding, windows, doors, decks, painting, fencing, Genesis will do it. In fact, Genesis can take care of all of your storm-related damage or insurance claims. They'll work with your public adjuster. GenesisTotalExteriors.com. Many, many years in business. We've known them the whole time. 303-679-8509. Call Mark Szymanski and his team for the high-quality home improvements. They also do solar. GenesisSolarCO.com. That's 303-679-8509. By now you've heard me talk about the liquid loan. Well, guess what? I think it's a wonderful loan, and I'm having him work one up for me. Why? Because it's a line of credit. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, or you can. The way it works is if it's a first on your home, it pays off your first, right? You can pay interest only. Do you know that? It's only a few $100 for every $100,000 you owe on simple interest. But most people pay amortized interest and principal, and it's not worth it if you're only going to be in your home 3 to 5 years. Now, if you're going to be in there longer or you change your mind, you can pay down your principal anytime you want without penalty. You can do whatever you want because it's a liquid loan. You can even borrow more when you need it, and for all the money you keep in the bank, it's as if you paid down your loan by that much. 720-895-0500. That's 720-895-0500. TheLiquidLoan.com.
Brighten your home and save 10% on Benjamin Moore paint by joining the Guy Reed Loyalty Program.
God, that would be so funny. Who said that, Dave? I was telling our YouTubers that the Park It Right owner, we're going to get him scheduled in. Can you imagine if his fucking car was towed while he was here? Fucking JJ. Hey, JJ, I need one of my cars towed. I can't get over there with the key. Holy shit.
It's beautiful. Oh, is that a real facade?
No, don't touch it.
It's covering a hole in the drywall.
Yeah, my plumber repiped the house. I had leaks and low water pressure, but he doesn't fix drywall.
And behind the stand,
No, don't touch that.
another hole.
Yeah.
Why didn't you call Repipe Specialist?
Repipe what?
Repipe Specialist. They can repipe.
Who's in today? Is it Shannon?
For 2 days. So
Yeah,
no
it's been there this morning.
What happened to Big G here?
So it's ready to paint. And we're about half the price of a plumber.
got leaks
And
in
I
the
said
water
this
pressure,
morning
call
he'd be
Pipe
here
Specialist.
half
They'll impact
happy.
your whole house in 1 or 2 days with PEX tubing and then offer the option to complete the job by repairing the drywall.
Oh, frustrating, isn't it? Yeah. Ought to cover that hole with a Monet.
Call 303-228-2910 for a free in-home estimate.
Oh, God, that's funny as fuck. His car could
No
be
payments or interest for a year. That's 303-228-2910. Call today.
Maybe what we should do is we'll see what he pulls up in, and then we'll make sure to tell our audience if they've ever been booted by Park It Ride.
Or tingling in your feet or hands are symptoms of peripheral neuropathy. Are you taking drugs?
I would do that.
You're digging a hole, bro.
I would do that.
Are you worried about your side?
I'm just joshing.
Front Range Medical Center can help. Peripheral neuropathy is a result of damage to the nerves causing burning, weakness, pain, numbness, tingling, and debilitating balance problems. Front Range Medical Center can relieve you from neuropathy with no injections and no drugs, using the newest, most advanced technology. You'll start feeling relief in only a few sessions. Call Dr. Dean Anderson, D.C. at Front Range Medical now for a consultation and exam to see if your neuropathy can be treated.
Mandel cow, that's the last name, brother.
Is it man cow or mandel cow?
Mandel cow. And it's KOW. And it's MANDEL. I would think it would be MANDLECOW. Man, I got 6 today, Doc, on that fucking Wordle.
Oh, you didn't get it?
No, I made it, but on the very last one. There was one the other day, the only vowel was a fucking Y.
Yeah, it was nymph.
Nymph.
Yeah.
And I always thought nymph was nympho, but even shorter for nymphomaniac to nympho. But it's not. It's like some kind of
it's an insect thing.
It's like a fairy.
Yeah.
Nymph. I'm like, fuck. I'm thinking, how many words can have just a Y in it? Just a Y. Shut up, Doc. You do that Wordle? No. I love fucking Wordle, man. The best I've ever done is in 2. I've done that twice. Just pure luck. You get 6 chances to guess a 5-letter word in a day. So the very first one you put in something that has multiple vowels, popular consonants, like maybe steers or whatever. Doc has one that uses almost, what's the word you use? Yeah, it's all vowels.
Hi, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Jim, we didn't leave you hanging. We were trekking, and I checked with my friendly dealers, I call them, on what they would do. And if you're here's Jim's issue, by the way. He bought a truck a year ago with 83,000 miles on it. He thought he was buying a 3-year extended warranty. Is that right, Jim?
Yes.
But the 3-year, what year is this car, by the way, this truck?
It's a 2018
okay.
Ford F-150.
Yeah. Now, here's a weird thing about extended warranties. Many of them go back to the time in service, meaning if you bought, let's say, a 2020 truck and you had a 5-year warranty, you may think, okay, you bought a 2020 truck, but you bought it now. So you bought it in 2022. So if you buy a 5-year warranty, you would think it goes to 2027, 5 plus, because you buy it in 2022. But many warranties go back to the in-service date. It sounds crazy, but they do. In other words, if that's a 2020 truck and you buy it 2 years later, and you buy a 5-year extended warranty, you're only getting 3 years of that extended warranty. Then you may think, that's crazy. Why would anyone do that? Because they're crazy. They do it. And the reasoning behind it is you are insuring everything from the time it was delivered, like, for example, any kind of hidden defects or factory defects, so they go back to the time in service. Now, some do not do that. They start from the day you buy it and go forward. But there's always a mileage component, always. There's never just a year. There's always mileage tied to a year. So when you bought yours 1 year ago, let's say in 2021, what did you buy? Did you buy a 3-year warranty that goes back to the in-service date? Well, no, that would have been 1920. It would have been over. So you bought a brand new 3-year warranty, but how many miles did it cover? I
started at 83, and it went up to $129,000.
Okay, so you were covered to $129,000?
Yes.
That's not a terrible warranty, but you said you didn't know about it. So you bought a 46. You probably bought a. Are you sure you bought a 46,000-mile warranty, or was it a 36,000? Usually they're 3-year 36,000.
I'm not quite sure. I'd have to look at the paperwork. But
Okay.
I was just wondering what can I do about that, or
nothing?
Should I trade it in, or
well, the bottom line is it depends on what you bought, man, and make sure. I'm asking you now: are you out of warranty? Yes or no?
No, I'm not now.
What do you mean you're not now out of warranty?
Oh yeah, I'm out of warranty now.
Okay. What mile did you reach that told you? What did they say expired you? What amount of miles? 149,000?
No, 1,029.
What do you mean 1,029? I don't get it.
They said my extended warranty, it was either 3 years or 100,029.
Okay, got it. Okay. All right. They said at 129,000 you no longer had coverage.
Right.
And how many did you have when you bought it? 88?
83.
Yeah, so it's out. I mean, I don't know what and how many. Why didn't you complain about the problems while it was under warranty?
I don't know. I was trying to, but I'm working.
Look, man, you got bamboozled. It's okay.
No, he didn't get bamboozled. He had a warranty, but he didn't file any claims.
The warranty was only good for 17,000 miles, and he spent how much on it?
No. No, it wasn't.
He bought it at 83,000. It was only good till 100.
It was good till 129. He had 129,000 minus 83. He had 46,000 miles of coverage.
Oh, that ain't bad. Then I just thought he said 100,000.
No, he had 46,000 miles of coverage, and he never once complained during that time. And now he's saying he thought it was 3 years. But it's never just 3 years. So I guess the main thing is what's wrong with it?
Well, it's starting to act up, and
well, you don't even know what's wrong with it. It may not be that serious. Here's what I recommend. You asked me what you should do. I would get used car checkout. It's SOS inspections. On your side, I would hire them to give you a diagnostic of the truck. Then call us back with a list of those things. And the reason I say to call us back is we can probably show you or tell you where to get it done honestly, or if you should trade it. Hold on, and Suze will give you that number for SOS inspections off the air. It's usedcarcheckout.com.
What it is?
Now, in fact,
Yeah,
this report is sponsored by
It's a website. So just go to New York Times. So there's a secret word, right? So you put in a word, and okay, so what it says is an A in the secret word. It's not an application. So let's say I'm just something.
No reported issues or slow traffic on C470 through Highlands Ranch or along the foothills.
Okay, just.
Whether partly cloudy skies, dry, or
It's an S and an A, but there are two. No, I'm just actually some of the words I use. I just
malicious.
to show you.
Anytime he opens up his mouth.
With your impact, traffic and weather.
But you're going to use the A and the S.
Well, I'm just trying. So now.
If you're a valued customer, you deserve a simple gesture of appreciation from your credit card company. And that's why Discover Match took all of the cash back you burned at the end of your first year. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match.
Okay, I got to do this. Let's talk about great companies and why you should hire a great company. Well, Excel Roofing is one of those great companies, and I don't say that lightly. Excel Roofing can really help you with your roofing. They even have a repair division and a gutter cleaning division. Here's the important thing about Excel. They never take a penny, not a cent. As they say, not a cent until you're content. Excel as in excellent, EXCEL, excelroofing.com. It's no secret that Jay and I are friends, and there's a reason we're friends. It's because of the way he conducts his business and his affairs. He's a great guy, and I know I can wholeheartedly recommend him. Listen, roofing, anybody can buy roofing. Anybody can hustle up some employees, but to have it done the right way, with no money up front, excellent employees, excellent project managers, and people who care, that's where Excel comes in. 303-761-6400. 761-6400. Excel Roofing. Expect only the best from them. Hey, when you want a reverse loan, you're going to hear about a lot of people offering reverse loans. I encourage you to go to people we know and trust, because if you don't get the right reverse loan, it could come back to haunt you. But with the right reverse loan, you tap the equity in your home to live on it efficiently. It won't you will never be upside down, and your home will keep appreciating beyond what you owe in most cases. EmpowerReverse.com. Mark and his team are good people. 833-502-3100. 833-502-3100. EmpowerReverse.com. Okay, you can go anywhere you want for countertops. They're all over the place, but you only get wholesale materials at theartofgranite.com. You only get prices on the phone at theartofgranite.com. Yeah, no one else will do that. He'll do it, Mitch Floria and his team. And you only get free tear out and haul away at theartofgranite.com. And you only get the bathroom vanity free when you do the kitchen at theartofgranite.com. 303-386-5919. Get your price. 386-5919.
As a marketer, you want to reach everyone.
Adults, teens, millennials, everybody start out every spot. Let's talk about this one. Radio ads connect with 93%.
Check it out.
That's more than Google, more than Facebook, more than TV. In fact, radio reaches 20% more millennials than TV. Want more of the people you want to talk to all in one place? Visit iHeartAdvertising.com.
You know, I may have been doing that,
and get AM/FM working for you. That's iHeartAdvertising.com. Equity is at all-time highs. Interest rates are still historically low. That's the idea.
You know, they're called word whiskers, and you know why they call them that? Because they grow very slowly and you don't notice them. And then somebody comes up and says, hey, bro, you look shabby, you know. That's so every once in a while you need that.
What are you talking about?
Word whiskers. People have habits and things they say. And they call them whiskers because they grow so slowly on you.
Your car is worth more
You don't often notice it.
in the past, and that's pretty
A lot of people say, like you know. They just said what I do on my spots. Let's talk about it. And that might be true.
You do? There was a guy that called
I don't think I do it all the time, but I do it a lot.
Not every time, but considerably.
There was somebody that called last Friday, Tom. He used the word basically at least 100 times. Yeah.
Get more info at thesharpestrides.com.
You're the one everyone looks to for answers. Come on, the job might get done, and you're the one who makes it happen. Where we get you, Jackie Fresno, putting your employee safety first. And Lady Jennifer, whose local Ranger team knows him by name. We're here for you and all the ones who get it done. With 24/7 customer support and access to product specialists to help you find what you need. Call, click Ranger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer Wet Jet. With Swiffer Wet Jet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer Wet Jet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
Do roller coaster stock markets make you nervous? With such frequent ups and downs, don't let market volatility derail your retirement. Hi, I'm Linda Gardner, host of Your Money, Your Retirement, Saturday on 630 KHO. If you're concerned about the markets, call today to schedule a complimentary review of your portfolio. Call 720-488-8604. That's 720-488-8604. Or online, yourmoneyyourretirement.com.
630 KHO, an iHeartRadio station.
Tom Martino here. Don't forget, an insurance checkup can save your butt. Do you know that 82 to 85% of the people who had their houses burned down cannot even rebuild because they did not have enough replacement coverage? It's called full replacement coverage. That's for items, but when it all adds up, you're limited by a dwelling amount. Make sure you have the right dwelling amount. Make sure you have the right insurance for both car and home. All of that can be done with a free call. And they'll do a free insurance checkup. And I'm serious, it's not a sales job. If you have a great deal, they'll let you know. TheInsuranceHelpCenter.com, 303-996-9000. All right, we have a message in to Rich Harris, Harris Family Law, to help with a child custody problem with Joe in Texas. So, Joe, we're trying to get some legal help for you, some legal advice, so hang in there. AJ's got a rental lease issue. We have Brad O'Brien with us, OLSlaw.com. O'Brien Legal Services, that stands for OLSlaw.com. What's going on, AJ?
Hey, Tom.
What's happening?
I'm calling about a issue with the lease. We just signed a new lease at a house that we're renting. It started April 1st. April 2nd, landlord sent a text saying that because of financial issues, they have to sell the house.
Oh, so you started your lease on April 1st, and then they call back saying,
sounds like that landlord's screwed.
I'm trying to figure out what our rights are.
What do you think, Brad?
Well, a lease...
Well, yeah, the lease must address that. You were going to say. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Brad.
A lease is a contract, and it's binding if it's signed by both sides.
Okay.
So we signed it back in February, the end of February?
What if the lease says he has a right to sell it and he can, I mean, what does it say in the lease about it?
I'm not seeing anything I don't see anything that says that they have if they sell.
Nothing about it. Nothing about
on the house.
Okay. So, Brad, are you saying that when you have a lease, you have a lien on that property, basically? I mean, it's not technically a lien, but it is it goes with the property, even if someone else buys it?
That's right. A lease is a right of possession only. It's not a lien. But that seller sounds like they're going to have to sell the property subject to the lease.
AJ, how long is your lease?
2 years.
Well, you got a hell of a good,
wow.
You got some ammo over there.
They have to buy you out, maybe. You negotiate a buyout.
Yeah, get some cash and go find another place.
Is it a house or is it a condo or what?
It's a house.
Wow.
Now, he told us what he wants for it, and we wanted to wait until the end of this lease to try to buy, but now it seems like we might have to start looking into that now.
Well, is he, because he stands to have to buy you out, he might want to apply that to a down payment or something. Have you ever thought about negotiating with him?
No, I haven't. We just heard about this Saturday.
Did you sign on the 1st or move in on the 1st?
No, we've been there 2 years already. We signed a new agreement.
Okay, got it. You know what, man? Unless that addresses the issue, you got him by the short hairs, as they say. Use it to negotiate. He has to buy you out or something, and you can always call Brad O'Brien, OLSlaw.com.
Children's Hospital Colorado might
the house with a renter in there, which isn't a bad deal for the buyer, right?
It's an investment property.
Yeah.
If he wants to.
Right, but if you have to sell the house...
It limits your ability to sell it, though.
Well, I think a lot of people would buy the house knowing that they have a renter there for 2 years.
That's true. It's been there over 2 years as well.
Been there over 2 years and got a couple more years. I'm like Fat City. So I bump them.
We're going to feel our July. You didn't add him to the
Kate,
call
you just like...
and I just sent you
I
an email
thought I
again.
did.
And he said he never got
Look,
a
coming in.
Do they even know you do?
if they expect somebody to respond, yeah.
Anybody need a drink? I'm gonna get some.
I love a water guy.
You get a water, Mark,
What the hell? I don't have any of them in there, right?
Yeah,
you want a Mountain Dew?
B-Large and A-Rod.
They'll disappear, or they'll expect to see somebody.
Can you add them again? I sent them the emails again. Same shoes.
Okay.
And I told him, Nightbot has exclusive rights to kick you all around.
Streaming live.
Did you, where, okay, are you in stone with your, surgery?
I believe I'm in stone.
You're not going to chicken out?
I'm not going to chicken out.
Okay.
Although I feel like plucking every morning.
Right at the top.
I got a big surgery coming up in a couple of weeks.
Back surgery.
That's A-Rod.
Yeah.
Why is it everyone?
Have you ever heard of someone with a pinched nerve? When you show, he's got a MRI, and when you hear pinched nerve, it's one thing. When you literally see it, it's like, oh shit, I get it. That nerve is pinched, really pinched.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
3 levels. Yeah, 3, 4, 4, 5, and 5S1.
His spinal cord goes from like this in the picture to like that.
I got approved for fusion surgery 5 years ago. I haven't done it yet.
What surgery?
Back fusion.
Because
once you do it, you only have 10 years until you gotta go higher and lower.
I didn't know
It
that.
doesn't last.
No, it
So you're waiting for technology.
It puts strain on, it puts strain on the rest of your
Yeah,
vertebrae.
right, because it freezes it in place.
So now everything else flexes more. Well, fortunately for me, they're catching the last few. Okay, so that area stays pretty straight most of the time.
Why not? This sounds stupid, but when they fuse it, why not put a little shock in there? Like a little fucking shock absorber. Seriously.
Well, that's what they do. That's one of the surgery is that they replace the disc in between with the synthetic disc.
Okay. But it still gives more wear and tear.
That's a disc.
Discectomy or something, right? I don't have work.
Yes, I got your voicemail, by the way.
It's really
I'm
wild.
on the air right now. I had planned to call you back. How long is Jim going to be doing this lazy man thing?
Sometimes his legs just go.
Especially if children are involved. If
My
you're a
left
father
hand
and want
yeah,
to protect your role in your children's lives, remember Cordell and Cordell. We've helped men with matters like these for 30 years, and we'd love to help you. Contact Cordell and Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Colorado area attorneys. 8101 East Prentice Avenue, Suite 475, Greenwood Village, Colorado, 80111.
Now, time anybody our age, look at the X-ray and the discs. You have black, they're not white and big. They get black and shrunk because they lose their form. I think the discectomy is when it flattens like a pancake and sticks out, they actually trim the edges of the part that sticks out.
When it sticks out, what's it hitting, or what's it,
what are we talking about?
That's spinal, that stuff.
All right. That's the top.
Yeah.
That's the bottom.
K-Town News Time, 12:03.
Oh, that's good.
With Russia readjusting
3 spots.
its troop
Yeah.
position in Ukraine.
Isn't that crazy?
As a bright spot. University of Colorado Boulder political professor Dr. Sarah Sophie says, while Ukraine has been able to repel Russian forces from Kyiv,
That's what happened to his brain.
remains under attack.
That is a very
You've been getting shots to strengthen the nerve.
troubling things as well. And
You've been getting shots to strengthen the nerve.
attacks are happening along Ukraine.
I got one set of shots.
It was cortisone.
After which, that's when I started having a foot drop. So you guys are crazy, no?
Why would it cause that? Did they say why?
I don't think the shot caused it. I think that I'm just putting the two together. I got the shot. The shot did not alleviate any pain. In fact, afterwards, it got worse.
Southwest Colorado town of Uray in 1986. McCall died in Uray on Friday at the age of
Virgil went through,
That's the latest on Chat Hour. Now,
he complained about his fucking knees forever. Buddy of mine, Virgil. And then he'd go out and get cortisone. and he'd be good for, shit, it would last 3-4 months, man.
Yeah, it can.
And then it started not lasting that long. And then finally, he got one done. He didn't want to get them done. He could have got them done at any time. He was ready to go. Sign off, ready to go. He was 20 years in the Air Force, man. He had great health coverage, everything. But when he finally got one done after the rehab, and it went pretty quick, he couldn't stop talking about how he should have fucking did that goddamn 15 years ago. He said, I lived with this shit for 15 fucking years and didn't have to.
I'm going to be talking about, I've been known I had this problem, okay? And I just kind of changed my ways to accommodate it.
To live around it.
But all of a sudden, you know.
So what happens when you get old, Khalid?
I know, Doc. I met you and said I got to change my shit.
All deteriorated, you know.
Mark, they're looking. Oh, we got an upgrade on Margaret power box.
Mark, what was it when I bought a car out of state that I got? Remember I had trouble getting plates.
No,
is it verification stations?
No, you had to have that one dude come out and do a bid, but I don't think it had any. I think it was something lacking from the dealer. I don't think normally it happens that way.
Okay.
I didn't have to do that shit.
You bought from out of state?
RB.
Okay. And they sent everything straight to the end?
No, I got everything and I sent it over to where I did it. But it was from out of state. I don't want to talk about it, but I bought a motorcycle out of state. I don't remember how to do it then.
I can use our P.O. box for the legal mailing address and then the physical location on Crystal, right?
Talk back anytime with
I don't know why not.
Radio while streaming KHOW in the full screen player. Just click the microphone.
You're on there too. You could put Tom Martino, and you don't have to put the P.O. box. We have a real address for the P.O. box.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you can list that as your sales tax, though. A P.O. box or whatever.
This is the Troubleshooter Show. Now, Tom Martino.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino. Welcome to the show. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. WaterPros.net has simply the best water softening systems you can buy for the lowest price anywhere. If you want to get all the crap out of your water, the hard minerals, you want to make it better for plumbing, for skin, for laundry, or you want drinking water, either one, under the drinking water under $1,000 fully installed, a whole house softener under $2,000, and you won't do any better ever. Oh, actually, he changed the price on the softeners. They're around $2,000, I should say, just a little over, because things have gone up dramatically. But it's well worth it. He'll do a free water test at waterpros.net, a totally free water test for quality. Waterpros.net. Now, we have Brad O'Brien with us, O'Brien Legal Services. We've been talking some real estate law, olslaw.com. Real estate law comes in all shapes and sizes. So AJ had a rental issue, and, I just want to talk about that because we had some texts on it, and people are confused. And I want to go over that again. Brad, when someone signs a lease, like AJ did, he signed a new 2-year lease, and then the guy wants to sell the house now. He can't just evict AJ without there's a contract there that would be breached if the contract doesn't address it, right?
That's right.
So in a breach of contract, there would be damages.
Well, in effect, the landlord can't do anything, can't kick him out without going to court, because that's called self-help, and that's illegal. But if the landlord did try to go to court to get the tenant out, it couldn't, because the judge wouldn't grant it. The judge would say, this is a lease.
So he is in the driver's seat,
He's holding all the cards.
Yes, in order to negotiate an out.
That's right.
Or negotiate a purchase, AJ.
I wonder if he can qualify to buy it.
AJ?
Yeah.
Did you have any...
That's something we're going to look into.
Do you have any additional questions? Because we have a premier real estate attorney on with us right now.
So I own a house that my parents are living in right now.
How do you own it?
Well, I bought it 10 years ago.
Oh.
And the family outgrew it, so that's why we went into a rental.
Oh, wait, your family outgrew it. What did you do with the house you bought?
My parents are living there.
Okay, so you outgrew it and your parents moved in, or did you buy it from your parents?
No, they moved in.
Oh, okay. So what is your question about then? Are you saying it might be difficult to qualify because you own one house already?
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned
Are
with.
they making the payment or are you?
They are.
Well, then you need to show it as a lease, and they'll look at that as income. That'll be a no-brainer, man.
Okay.
That actually can help that can help because I'll bet you it went up a lot since you bought it.
Yeah, I've got quite a bit of equity in it.
Yeah, that's good. So show it as a rental. Don't get into my parents and all that stuff. Don't even get into it.
Yeah, have a lease made because whatever your lender, they're going to actually want to see the lease. So because it's your parents, it'll be simple. Just do it. If you don't have it in place now, just do it like it's been in place for years.
Or do a 2-year lease.
Okay.
Yeah. But and if you have any questions, as I said, Brad O'Brien, olslaw.com, 720-370-7388. Mark?
Hey, Brad, I understand that the assignment of a lease when someone buys it. But if they put in the lease that we can sell it at any time, that would be fine as well, right? If that was actually in there. Or there's certain...
Yeah, with certain notice and stuff, it can't be unconscionable like we can, right? Or doesn't a lease have to be reasonable?
Yes, well, generally, landlords can always assign the lease to whoever they sell the house
No,
to.
what I mean is could they put in there that we can sell this house at any time?
Yeah, and give you 30 days notice or 60 days notice.
Yeah, that's called an early termination provision. Not many leases have that.
Okay, all right. I've seen some with it because of the markets. Now, not recently, but I remember seeing one where I think the guy said, that we reserve the right to sell this property and terminate the lease with so many days' notice. And it just insulated him just in case.
Is there anything, if you could go back in time and you were representing landlords pre-COVID, before they stopped evictions altogether, is there anything that could have been in those leases to where the landlord still could have gotten paid? Because I know, I have a neighbor, man, he didn't get paid for like 16 months. Was there anything, if you could go back in time, that could have been in those leases to where you could have evicted them?
No, because the federal law
trumped everything. And they took away private property rights. You know that.
Sure.
And I thought there would be a mass eviction after that. Remember when the protection was there weren't any mass evictions. Were there, Brad? You would know.
In some location, some places there were, but around here not so much.
I wonder if landlords worked with the tenants that were in there.
Yes, and there was a lot of incentives too that people received.
Oh, that's right. I heard landlords could get some money from the government for that back rent.
Yeah, the city of Denver had a program to facilitate rent payments.
So they may have not lost so much as we thought.
Right.
303-713-TALK. So we're done with AJ at this point. The best to you, AJ. Now, Joe, we're trying to get our family law attorney on for you if we can. Ken, you have some tax questions. Go ahead, Ken. What's happening?
Well, I heard you talking about amended returns a few minutes ago. So
Yes.
I thought I would hit you up with two questions.
Okay.
First one is I filed my return, made an error on the question about did I receive the third stimulus payment. I didn't remember receiving it, so I said no on my return. I got a letter from the IRS saying I did receive it, which I went back and checked, and I actually did. So I sent the check in that I owed due to the error with their little payment stub. So I'm assuming I'm done with that. I don't need to file an amended return now.
No, you don't. When they find the error, they amend it for you.
Did they give it to you twice?
No, there were two payments, remember?
Well, you said the third one, then you sent them a check. What was the check for?
The penalty for underreporting, right?
Yeah, I didn't think I got the third one, so I said no on the return, but I did receive the third one. There were 3 stimulus payments. I only remembered 2 of them. So
you sent in, how much was the penalty?
There wasn't a penalty. I just owed the taxes on it.
Okay, good. They didn't do a penalty. That's amazing.
No, so I'm fine with that. No amended return. The second question,
My daughter did the same thing with hers. She hasn't received the letter from the IRS yet. Should we just wait till we receive that, or should we file an amended return, or is that going to get
Well, you know what?
confused?
There's the right answer and the wrong answer, and both work. The right answer is if you know of an error, you're supposed to correct it. And the wrong answer, which also works, is you wait for them to catch you.
Well, I'm afraid if we do an amended return, we're going to send that in, and then we're going to get their letter in the mail, and it's going to cross each other up. So I'm almost thinking we're better off waiting.
Some people do that, and that's a good strategy. And your strategy isn't you want to cheat them. Your strategy is you want to wait to see if they discover it.
Well, I'm sure they're going to discover it. I just don't want to screw it up by sending in a return or a amended return. And
I know exactly what you're saying. But if that did happen, just so you know, if they notified you after you sent the amended return, you would say, we corrected it on the amended return.
Here, the only thing I'm lost on a little, Ken, is I'm pretty sure that the stimulus checks weren't taxable income. So I don't even understand why you sent them a check.
Well,
I think, Mark, I don't know how they figured it, but they do ask about it on every return.
Yeah, but I don't think they're taxable. They ask you to make sure that they don't owe you some. But none of it really matters. I'm just a little stuck in my head why you owed them anything based upon a stimulus check you got, unless if they sent it to you twice.
Well,
Mark, I looked it up. You're right. They're saying that the IRS is saying stimulus checks are not taxable.
So therefore, when he sent them a check, that's what I don't get.
No, they're not taxable, but they're counted. If I didn't get it, then they're going to send it to me.
Oh,
I got,
so you did get.
I got in the.
Yeah, what I'm saying is this: Did you get the payment? Did you get the payment you said you didn't get? Did they send it to you?
No, it was taken off on the tax return. So
I get you got the benefit. I get it. You got the benefit of not having the stimulus check,
just like I said.
Yeah. So we understand, right? So you did the right thing, obviously. So for people listening, if you said you did not get the stimulus check, they would allow more of a refund to you, or you would get it in a refund, and
it'd be virtually a tax credit, or it would be a tax credit.
And it's pretty easily checked on their end because they obviously keep records.
Yeah, there's no reason to modify that tax. That's as simple as that. That return, you're fine.
Yeah, I think that what'll happen is you're going to get notified. 303-713-8255. Okay, we have more coming up. Just stay tuned. I'll get to all of your calls.
And here's why, because they caught it. They already know. They already modified it on his behalf.
Stop avoiding your erectile dysfunction issue. Peak Performance for Men is offering your best offer yet. Call today to book your free consultation and free blood flow evaluation. 1-800-210-8181.
So I have a question.
Peak Performance for Men helps over
President is releasing 1 million barrels of oil a day. To whom does he sell it and
all
how much?
One phone call for a free consultation. Free blood flow evaluation. Call 1-800-210-8181.
I think it goes into the same market as everything.
1-800-210-8181.
You really need a public insurance adjuster on your side when you file a claim with your homeowners. Now, if it's a small claim and very simple, then you don't. But how do you know? Well, get a free look at your claim from Public Insurance Adjusters of Colorado. Let me explain something. Public adjusters work for you. So you use them as your representative against your insurance company. I hate to say against your insurance company, but that's the way it is. Your insurance company is going to try to minimize your loss. Some people won't even get enough to make it like it was, and they get nothing for depreciation or nothing for overhead and profit. Here's what you need to do. You need to engage a public adjuster to get the money you have coming to you. They'll look at your claim free of charge. Joel and his team will look at even past claims that have been closed to make sure you were treated right, because they can reopen them. So before filing a claim, call a public adjuster. They will let you know if they can help you, and if so, they'll get more money than you could ever get on your own. 720-715-0000. Yes, that's the number, 720-715-0000, or the website, coclaims.com. I love Zero Res, and you know why? Because they clean my carpet with nothing but water. I love it because it's a clean, fresh feeling, and the water does clean. It's a patented process. They call it empowered water, and you can trust them to do a great job like they do at my home. You can have just 3 room areas done now for $99 or have more done if you want. It's time to clean. Spring cleaning the Zero Res way. They will get dry faster and stay clean longer because there's no dirt attracting residue. So get them into your home as soon as possible. ZeroResDenver.com, 303-471-5150. Safe and effective, less water, no residue. That's ZeroResDenver.com, 303-471-5150. Frank Duran is the real estate man that I use on all of my transactions. We're talking real estate today. And, you know, Frank Duran, therealestateman.com is where you reach him. You can also call him. I'll give you that number in a minute. Here's the deal. He'll do a free market analysis of your home. You may be thinking of selling. He'll do an analysis. You may decide to list with him or not. There's no obligation and there's no charge. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com, 303-920-1622.
There are lots of places to get national news, but the local stories that affect you most, count on Newsbreak's new email newsletter. Right now, listeners of this show will be entered for the chance to win $1,000 when they sign up for Newsbreak's brand new email newsletter at iHeart.com/Newsbreak. Get the top 5 news stories from your neighborhood delivered straight to your inbox every morning. It's completely free. Sign up at iHeart.com/Newsbreak and be entered to win $1,000.
So, Mark, you think you just put it on the open market?
Yeah, I think the refineries buy it just like they would anything else. It's just, I think, I don't know, Doc, but I don't see any other fair way to do it.
Does that surprise you? And he's doing it through the midterms, by the way.
Yeah,
but it doesn't make any fucking difference.
But here's the deal. And how about the fact the entire presidency has been, look here. You know, it's been like...
I think this is worse than that because we've got Russia, who's got more nuclear warheads than anybody, taking over another country, acting crazy. The reason we have this fucking strategic fucking oil, and in case if we got to go to war, our ships, our airplanes, all this shit actually has fucking fuel. The majority of it will be jet fuel.
How many millions of gallons do we have? Barrels do we have?
A lot.
Oh, fuck, it's basically Oklahoma.
But you know, the other thing is, all he had to do, which would be much smarter, was to get rid of the federal tax on gasoline for the next 180 days. That would be a direct, immediate reduction in oil in gas prices, right? That would be much better than releasing oil. First, to your point, which means we're not reducing our strategic reserves, and the impact will be seen immediately. There's about 40 cents a gallon of federal tax. Just get rid of the tax on 180 days.
They don't like getting rid of anything they got coming in. That throws off any budget they have. That really fucks shit up.
Well, gas companies, they don't pass on those 40 cents, maybe half of it. They use it as an opportunity to line their pockets.
But when you go to the pump, there's a gas tax, right? So if you get rid of that, what you pay at the pump is automatically...
No, but the gas companies raise their price.
But if you get rid of it, then they won't raise their price.
We should ask.
We should have. But you make sure they don't.
Or line.
Right. No, but they
I would
put
assume
before.
He would
Nixon
know
did it.
if you could borrow against I'm sure you could borrow against it. I don't know the rules on borrowing against life insurance. Is it like a 401k? You can only, you got to repay it in a certain amount of time? Is there a percentage?
So which one for that?
Yeah, let's see what the question is.
Hi, Tom Martino here. Welcome to the show. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Joe, we have one of our family law attorneys on. We have Bonnie Shields. Bonnie Shields Law. She can help us with a question. And, Joe, I want to bring this up. Hold on a sec, Joe. I'm going to can you listen on hold because your phone is really noisy. Will you be able to listen? Can you hear the show on hold, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, hold on, and then we'll come back to you. Bonnie Shields. Okay, so Bonnie, Joe has a rather weird situation. He is in Texas. I assume his wife is in Colorado. Joe, is your wife in Colorado?
My ex-wife, yes.
And is your ex-wife, is the divorce in Colorado? I assume it is.
Yes, it's out of Denver County.
All right. So out of Denver County, Bonnie, he went to mediation for child custody. He was in jail the first 5 years of his kid's life. His wife was also arrested for drugs, but here's the bottom line. In mediation, the wife would only give him a certain amount of time, and he said he wants more. It all comes down to that. They can't agree. So he filed a motion with the courts, and, of course, he didn't have to file a motion saying he was unhappy with mediation because there was already a motion that triggered mediation. So the judge said, we're going to hire a child family investigator or whatever they call it. I believe it's a CFI, child family investigator. And you each have to pay a certain amount. He says he can't afford it. He says his wife can't afford it. Well, what happens with a CFI? He said they filled out the paperwork. His wife is on all kinds of his ex is on all kinds of public assistance. He has a job, but he doesn't make, he makes all right money. What happens if you can't afford a CFI? What do they do with the motion?
Well, he's going to get nowhere if he doesn't come up with the money for that CFI. If he has to work a second job, whatever he has to do, he needs to pay that CFI because he's the one that wants a change. So he's at their mercy. I'm surprised that mother's portion isn't being paid by the state if she's on assistance, and maybe it is, and he doesn't understand that.
Joe?
But
yes, sir.
Okay, so bottom line here, is her part being paid by the state, do you know?
Neither one of our parts is being covered by the state.
So
we're both denied state assistance.
So even if you came up with the money, you'd still have to pay her half, or she'd have to, if she doesn't pay, you wouldn't have enough money, right?
Well, her half doesn't matter on my part. I just got to show proof of my part of willing to make that effort of paying my portion of the CFI investigation.
What happens,
you
Bonnie?
Are correct. If both parties do not pay.
Bonnie, what happens if he pays his part or puts up his part and she doesn't put up hers?
Then she's the one in trouble for not doing it. The court, I'm not sure they've got lots of options they could do. They could fine her in contempt. Paying the CFI, it's an order appointing CFI. That's what appoints a CFI. So it is a court order, and in there it tells everybody, here's what you have to do. And one of the things is, here's how the CFI is going to be paid, and it says,
okay. So if no one pays, does the motion go away?
The judge could just dismiss the case. The judge could find both parties in contempt. If one of those happened, I
think the ex-wife is saying dismiss it, and we'll leave it status quo. I get the kid, he doesn't.
Right. I mean, really doesn't matter to her nearly as much.
Right.
The CFI doesn't get paid because if it gets dismissed, then she's already got what she wants. But he needs to find a way to pay that CFI. I assume it's like $1,375.
Yeah, that's right, $1,400. Plus, he has to pay travel because the CFI has to go to Texas.
Ah, okay. How much is the cost of the travel? Does he know?
He says it's going to be $3,000 altogether.
Altogether with
the fee.
with the original $1,375 plus the travel.
Right.
Hey, Bonnie, can he fly to Colorado, stay in a motel, and meet the CFI?
No, they want to see where the kid's going to
so
live.
he has to. Okay, it was just a thought.
Here's one thing, Tom. I do a lot of CFI work, and sometimes when a parent is out of state, you can do it by Zoom, and the parent can give you a tour of the home. It really kind of depends on what the allegations are. If the allegations are that he's living in filth and rats and things like that, well, then, yeah, someone's going to want to go in person.
Joe, do you know if it has to be in person?
It doesn't say directly in person. Right now, I was in communication with the CFI investigator, and they were just asking for the initial $1,400 just so they can start the investigation.
Okay, well,
so if the CFI wants the initial retainer so they can get like $13.5 per person if the judge split it in half, then CFI can make a determination, hey, I need to travel, and let's say the CFI determines, I really think it would be best if I travel. The CFI will have to ask the judge for permission on that, and he'll have an opportunity to tell the judge, no, I don't think that's necessary. I can do a Zoom meeting. I can make sure that she can clearly see my house, the inside, the outside, the rooms, the neighborhood, anything. I don't have the money for this. I barely scraped up the money for the other. So it's not a given that the CFI has to travel. There are lots of cases where one person's in another state and a CFI does not have to travel. It's a case-by-case basis.
Okay. So, Bonnie Shields, thank you. These get very complicated across state lines, don't they?
They do. He needs to find a way to pay that CFI because that's the only way he's going to get time with his kid.
All right. Thank you. Bonnie Shields Law. She's on our referral list, referralist.com, for divorce, separations, child custody problems, all of that. She does mediation, too. 303-798-1927. Joe, you're between a rock and a hard place, man. You got to come up with the money somehow.
Yeah, I have a part-time job. I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That only gives me $300 a week, so I should be able to have the $1,400 by the beginning part of next month to pay off the initial investigation. But my problem is coming up with that.
Yeah, but
I'm assuming it's
Joe,
going to cost me about $15.
ask him tell him you heard that some people can do Zooms, or tell her, whoever the CFI is, that some people have done Zooms and teleconferencing, and you'd like to keep the cost down just because you really want to see your child, and you work hard. Just tell him that.
So then that's going to be my next question. Is that dependent on the CFI investigator, or can I send a motion to the judge?
No.
Where the
judge can't tell the CFI how to do their job.
Okay.
But
well, thank you, Mr. McKinnon. I appreciate it.
I'm really sorry you're going through this. It's too bad mediation did not work. Are you sure she wouldn't move at all?
Yeah, she wouldn't move at all to me just having 52 days a year with my son, and that isn't enough time for me. That's not enough time to make an influence.
Now, do you have to pay his travel to Texas and back, or you have to come and get him?
Oh, that's another thing. I have to come up with 6 plane tickets every time I bring my son out here to Texas. I got to fly to Colorado, get my son, fly him and me back, and then fly me and him back down there, and then me fly back. She will not allow him to take a plane by himself.
Well, how old is he?
He's going to be 7 in May.
I don't blame her. So you have to fly up. That's 1 ticket. Pick him up and fly back. That's 3 tickets. And then both fly back. That's 5 tickets. And then you have to go back. That's 6 tickets. Right.
Yes, sir. I mean, it helps me out having my sister that lives in Fort Lufton. So I stay with her when I go down there, and I'm borrowing one of her cars when I go down there. And I go out to Texas or Colorado all the time. I'm in Colorado at least every other month just so I can see my son. I fly out on a Friday, I see him all day Saturday, and I fly back Sunday.
This is all just what it is, though.
Yeah, I know. It is what it is. You're right. All right. Thank you. We have more coming up. Now, Roger wants to know about borrowing against life insurance. Yes, you can if you have cash value. Jessica wants to know about an eviction gone wrong. Lee wants to talk about a Whirlpool stove, and he's been waiting the longest. I'll go to Lee right after this.
But if it's a non-stop flight, you can put a kid on a plane and then just have somebody meet him at the
station. With Michael Brown in the morning and Dan Callis in the afternoon, 6:30 KHOP Denver.
Okay.
Now,
that's not a big deal.
Traffic.
We have reports of boulders on the roadway, rocks, eastbound I-70 at Wadsworth, several disabled vehicles on the shoulder. Again,
Where is
eastbound
it?
I-70 at
Wadsworth,
Wadsworth.
I-70.
Working your way through. Now, out on the east side of town, it's an accident eastbound I-70 approaching Chambers, jamming traffic back to Havana and also slowing traffic northbound 225 trying to get onto I-70. Fox 31 pinpoint weather, look for a high
Better
of
call
67
Saul has a
today,
new,
overnight low
new
37.
season coming,
yeah.
Is it the first episode tonight?
Are they only going to post them one at a time? I hate that shit.
Currently, it's
I don't
63.
know. I generally just turn my thing on record and wait 3 or 4 weeks and then start
Hiring, then
through
check
it.
out Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You do not have to live in
Pain. And I thank Colorado Pain Care every day for not living in pain. And you can be lucky like that too. Well, it's not lucky. It's because of their skill. Go on to ColoradoPainCare.com, the website, ColoradoPainCare.com. Find out about their locations around Denver for your convenience. Also, office hours or clinical hours from 7 to 7 for your convenience. Plus, they have physical therapy. They have what you need to get over your pain. They work with insurance. They work with you and other doctors if they have to. That's fine. 303-GOT-PAIN. Call them first. Get out of pain, whether it's chronic or been there a long time or acute. You just got an injury. ColoradoPainCare.com. 303-GOT-PAIN. BlakeHarrisLaw.com is a name I want to cement in your mind for estate planning. You can call him for free advice. Yes, you can. Ask your questions. Then, if you hire him, it's a flat rate quoted up front for whatever he does, whether it's a simple will or a will and a trust, maybe a beneficiary's deed, or a payable on death certificate for a bank account. BlakeHarrisLaw.com. Here's the number for your answers, 833-ASK-BLAKE. 833-ASK-BLAKE. Welcome to the Casa,
Oh
Catherine.
my, is that a Picasso?
No, don't touch
it's
it.
covering a hole in your wall.
Yeah, I had leak.
Repipe specialists would have repiped and offered to fix the holes in your wall.
What is Title 42? That was ended.
That has to do with how we handle a legal process. Do they stay in Mexico or do they wait here? That's the bottom line. It doesn't matter if it ended now. They never followed. So, I mean, it's like a big deal. It ended. Even though a judge told the administration they have to do it, they said, yeah, okay.
Are they making him take COVID tests?
No, of course not.
So you and I have to take a COVID test.
Well, you should.
Right, but
Until Putin stops.
an illegal immigrant doesn't have to.
Pretty much.
Well, that's Putin's fault.
No, it's Trump's fault. Everything is Trump's fault.
It's one or the other. The home you want. Orchard, the new way to home, is a proud partner.
You really got to forget about broken hands.
Orchard.com.
I might go check this lady's furnace out today.
What's that, Mark?
She claims that ever since one of our companies put in a new fan, that it makes way more noise than it ever did before. And they can't fix it. And life is horrible, and she can't sleep. And blah blah blah. But it's one of those. I kind of think she's crazy, but I think you know how some people. She's old enough. I think she has hearing aids. There could be a certain frequency that's driving her insane, but I won't hear it. Would you agree with that?
Put our hearing aids in.
With the hearing aid.
Tinnitus doesn't care if you got hearing aids or not. Mine doesn't.
Do you hear a buzz all the time?
All the time.
What do you think it's from? Like listening to loud music? Or what?
I have no idea. I remember it from elementary school. So.
Oh, you've always had it?
Yes, I've always had it.
You got a gremlin scratching at your brain.
No, he's just blowing on a whistle. He's got.
Well, you know the problem is when you scratch and there's nothing inside, it reverberates.
What did we do to poor Tom that one time? He came in there was a noise.
Oh,
Yeah.
We all heard it.
The beat, that thing right there by you.
No, we all said we didn't hear it.
And we all acted like we didn't hear it.
Right,
and
right.
he kept walking in and out of the room going fucking crazy.
You're right. That was good.
He goes,
I really thought that.
well, it's because 5 people couldn't
Right,
hear it.
yeah,
I mean,
we couldn't
fuck,
hear
what are
it.
you supposed to think? I felt bad fucking Friday. I couldn't get you, man. You weren't here to get for April Fool's Day. Oh.
It's like, well, I know in medical school, you know, when we had lectures, the same people would always sit in the front row. So on April Fool's Day, we got everybody who was a back row person to sit in the front row, and these kids would walk in, do a double take, and they wouldn't know what to do.
Because it was so fucked
They
up.
weren't assigned seats. Just sit wherever you wanted.
So, did you hear what Fallon did with Jimmy Kimmel? That was the best ever.
What
They
they do?
each did each other's show.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
So when it said, "Here's Jimmy," Jimmy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they redid the whole show.
Wow.
Did they attempt to do it as the other person, you know?
No, just themselves, Jimmy Kimmel. And then in the middle of the broadcast, they went window to window.
Are they on the same station? Or are they head to head?
They're at different networks, but what they were able to do, because they taped the same time, they were able to do a side-by-side talk back and
During
forth.
the tape.
In the beginning saying, not to be somewhere comparing each other. Jimmy Kimmel says, I don't want to go back to my dumb after this.
I saw Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon was with them. Our 8th grade went down to New York and watched it.
I did it. I went to Johnny Carson. In California, though, Malibu.
Ours was New York.
Hi, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Renew Home Innovations will get you beautiful showers. I love the showers. Now, they do baths, too. They do shower-bath combinations. I just want to talk about the shower because they can do a big rectangle shower with perimeter drains, grab bar seats, anywhere you want them. They have even thresholds, so no threshold. Basically, you can walk right in. You can literally wheel in if you have a wheelchair or walk in with a walker. It's easy access, and it's gorgeous. It's American standard. Fixtures with no, they have wall systems that look and feel like stone without the maintenance. Renew Home Innovations special pricing for seniors. Now listen to this. They're doing this for a limited time. Half off, 50% off installation labor. That's it. You don't get better than that. That's 303-904-2000. Half off installation labor. 303-904-2000. Okay, let's talk to Lee about his Whirlpool. Lee, what's going on with your Whirlpool, man?
Okay, I'm a lady.
I'm sorry, it's a Lee lady. I'm sorry. I didn't. Hello, lady. What's going on with it?
Okay, I'm a senior in my 70s, and I purchased a Whirlpool stove from Lowe's in September of 2021. I have a 1-year warranty. The stove is not baking or heating right. So Best Services is a contractor to Whirlpool. They came out in January and they said nothing was wrong with the stove. So they said I wasn't preheating it. So I said, okay, maybe that's a problem. So now I've been preheating it and I put like 2 egg rolls in and it took 45 minutes. It didn't even brown. And I put 4 chocolate chip cookies in and these are all preheated. It took over 30 minutes for them to cook.
What?
So I called Whirlpool, and they called Best Services again. So
yeah, but did this service company say it was working normally or what?
Yes, they said it's fine. All they did was put a thermometer in there, and they said that it's working fine. So he came again this morning, and he said he just put a thermometer in and then recommended that I get one, and he said it's working fine. So it's $119 charge for me because nothing was wrong with the oven.
Wait a minute. So they're saying there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but you know it doesn't perform like your previous ones.
Right.
Could it be that your previous ones were overly hot or something crazy like that? Could it be that this is performing and the other one you adapted to?
I don't think so because if you put 4 chocolate chip cookies in the oven at 350 and they're not done within a half hour, something's wrong.
That is wrong. You're right. I mean,
and 2 egg rolls, I have to put it in my toaster oven to get those things to cook right. And so I'm just really
I don't get it, though. I don't get why.
What happened this morning? Did he put a thermometer in that registered the appropriate temperature?
Yes, that's all he did was put a thermometer in.
I get it. Did he try various temps? For example, you set it at 350. He put a temp in and read 350.
Right. That's right.
Well, but Lee, you remember now, this guy coming to the house has every reason to want to fix something. He's being paid by Whirlpool. So I don't think they're trying to shine you on. I don't think they're trying to say, hey, don't find it. He wants to find it. He gets paid for it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I mean, did you change your recipe at all? Or the chocolate?
No, this is just regular. I put some macaroni and cheese in the oven, store-bought, and it took it forever to heat.
Really?
And so they...
and you're sure it was different. Hold on. And you're sure it was different before? Like how new are these appliances, or are they old?
I think this. You mean the one I just bought?
Yeah. When did you buy it?
In September of 2021.
Okay, so just a few months ago, you put this in, and did it ever work right?
No.
What's the model number? Do you know?
Oh, it's WFC 150M0JW.
God, I don't get it. I mean, but there's nothing. The reason the guy's not doing anything is because the temp is. Did he wait to see if it held more than 10 minutes?
Well, he was here about 25 minutes.
And watching the whole time the temperature.
Yeah.
But thermometers don't lie. I don't. I mean, you do have to make adjustments for high altitude, but you're saying you never used to have to.
Right. And, I recalibrated it. Whirlpool told me to recalibrate the oven.
How do you recalibrate it? How do you do that?
You just you have to hold the down temperature, and then it'll go to 0, and then it'll have 10, 20, or 30 degrees. And so I heated it up to 30 degrees. Now, when I open my oven, it's hotter because, I recalibrated it. And it's still not baking right. And when I talked to Whirlpool before these people came out, they had told me that if they had to recalibrate it, they would charge me $209. And Whirlpool told them they don't have to recalibrate. I can do that myself. But they're still charging me $119. And the issue isn't resolved and it's under warranty. Why should I have to pay anything?
I don't think you should, because they think you're being a pest. No, I mean, I think that's what it is. They don't want you to keep calling. I'm serious.
Uh-huh.
But I would call Whirlpool about that. We can probably, hey, Suze, she shouldn't be charged. Were you told up front you would be charged if there was no problem?
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you recalculate it yourself or calibrate it?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But they're charging me, and so Whirlpool says that they will not pay for this. They're backing up the technician because they'll only pay for functional failures.
Well, and your old oven wasn't gas or anything, right? It was electric
no, it
to
was
electric.
And it was a Whirlpool. I told them I had this oven for 25 years and never had any problems.
Why'd you replace it?
Because the burners were starting to go out, and I wanted, it was a drop-in stove, and I wanted a slide-in stove. So, they had to come, not Whirlpool didn't do it, or Lowe's. They cut the bottom out so the regular stove would go in, because the drop-in is really expensive, and I just wanted to have a regular slide-in stove.
With oven, right? Okay, so,
right.
Man, the only thing I can say is we need to have one of our independent people look at it, just to give a second opinion. And if they say it's okay, there's nothing we can do to help you. We just have to chalk it up to some kind of, let's call it climate change or something. I don't know. That seems to be a good excuse. Or Putin. Let's blame him. Listen.
Well, I told him, come and get it. I said, I'd rather get another stove. I'm serious.
Yeah, but I don't really. They won't do that after all this time. Here's what we have to do. We need to ask a favor of one of our people to go out and look at it. Now, a favor. Just hold on. Let's see if we can find someone.
Who could we get, Mark?
Well,
now, impact traffic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.
We'll let somebody on the air. It'll be a good plug if somebody can just get a quick look at it.
Accident right now as you're traveling eastbound right around Chambers, and it's really jamming traffic back on I-70 back to Havana. Also impacting that northbound I-225 drive, trying to get onto eastbound I-70, jamming traffic back onto 225. I-25 right now, accident and delay free. Fox 31 pinpoint weather, partly cloudy, dry, a high of 67 today. Tonight's low 37. Gusty winds for tomorrow, a 30% chance for rain and a high of 59. Currently, it's 63. With your impact traffic and weather, I'm Chris McLaughlin, 630 K-How.
If your company needs to spring into efficient hiring, then check out Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com.
okay, there's on Amazon, and it's Prime.
Okay, Sheridan Auto Tech. I've said it before. It has absolutely everything you want for auto repairs and maintenance. First of all, they do all kinds of repairs and maintenance. That's critical, right? Even electrical issues. They have a complete electrical department. What else do they have? They have longevity, honesty, experience, knowledge, convenience, and value. Now think about that. All of those put together, and Uncle Kevin, who is the owner, I call him that, Kevin Calkin, who treats his customers like family. On Colfax and Lakewood, just west of Wadsworth, on Havana and Aurora, just south of 6th Avenue. Look them up, SheridanAutotech.com, 303-455-7242. I love the Liquid Loan. The Liquid Loan, I call it the Liquid Loan because it's a line of credit. After paying off your first, it can just sit there. If you have extra equity, you can borrow more. But the best part of it is that it is simple interest. So if you're only going to be in your home a few years, you can pay just interest only. Let the house appreciate. Don't have high payments. Or if you decide to pay principal, you can pay it any time you want, any amount you want. It's liquid. And if you need to borrow money back, you can do that too. It's liquid. It is a great loan. And listen to this. You offset your balance for every dollar you have in the bank, so you pay even less interest. TheLiquidLoan.com, only from Affordable Interest Mortgage. TheLiquidLoan.com, 720-895-0500. Don't be in pain, please. Don't be in pain. ColoradoPainCare.com, for pain of all kinds, whether it's acute, you just suddenly came on, or you've had chronic pain for years. They work with all major insurance. Look them up, ColoradoPainCare.com. Find out where their clinics are, and their hours are 7 to 7. You can even get same-day appointments. ColoradoPainCare.com, 303-GOT-PAIN.
Do you feel like your feet are stepping on broken...
For $8 on Amazon, including Prime, you can get this, and it goes right in the oven, and it'll tell you the exact temperature of it. I mean, that's the best way to do it. That's what he's done. Well, unless he's lying, but, I mean, what are we going to do if it's right? I mean, not a fucking thing you can do.
Nothing.
Tommy, the only people we have is Jensen, but I'm not sure what I'm asking
Don't
them
we
to
have
do.
another one? I thought we had another appliance.
It's easy, but I think there's issues.
Yeah. But what am I going to be asking them to do? I don't
Okay.
quite understand. If they fixed it and they charged
They didn't
her.
fix it. They said there's nothing wrong with it.
She told me they put a new thermometer in it.
No, they put a thermometer in it to read it.
Oh, okay. I think thermostat or something weird. Okay.
But if it's reading right, what do you fucking do? You tell her to turn it up hotter then. Maybe her old oven was so old, it was a lot fucking hotter. Even though it said 350, it's 4.
That's right.
But what she also said is I turned it 350. I put in the cookies, and the cookies should have been done in an appropriate amount of time, and they weren't.
Yeah, but high altitude, I always have to go long.
I don't know what's
Yeah, but
appropriate.
it's not that much longer. It's really not that much longer. I'm from sea level myself, and I only screwed up a couple of things before I realized, okay, it's a little bit longer or a little bit higher.
As a seller, you get zero in commission. That's because Gabe has thousands of buyers and buyers.
By the way, isn't 350 at sea level the same as 350 at altitude? We're not talking about boiling water.
I understand, but baking changes for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, maybe because of yeast rising and the expansion of gas. But temperature is temperature. I mean, when you go to the doctor and you take your temperature, it's not different that you're 98.6 at sea level and here. So temperature is temperature. But if you have expanding things like yeast causing carbon dioxide, then the altitude does matter because there's less air pressure. So air pressure changes, but temperature doesn't.
So we just want Jensen to assess the issue, is what you're saying.
That's a big
Well,
ask.
let me know.
Hey,
I'll give you guys a few minutes to powwow.
I called them up 2 weeks ago, and they refunded the guy's money, no questions asked.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, so they're okay.
Sometimes severe. If it's severe,
What did you think? Was the owner having health issues?
Yeah, he had a heart attack. They're trying to figure stuff out.
Are they busy?
I don't know.
Yes to Linzest. Learn more at linzest.com.
Hopefully they got that shit handled, but they're way out in Golden. I'm not going to ask them to. They're having enough issues.
Legend and Hall of Famer Cal Ripken Jr. will be this year's speaker at the Boy Scouts Breakfast at Ball Arena on April 6th. Details and registration at denverboyscouts.org/sportsbreakfast.
Okay, Tom Martino here. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Listen, we were told by several people, comments off the air, on the air, texts. Lee, it's possible, and I don't want to, I don't know why, but it's possible that your old oven was heating up way more than the temperature said because it was old, and if anything, ovens get hotter, and I don't, but still you would think, why would the house, have you followed the high altitude baking instructions on your cookies or not?
No, I didn't know there was a high altitude.
And you may think, hold on, I understand what you're saying, though. You're saying you didn't have to do it with your old one. Maybe you were making adjustments with your old one without knowing it. Maybe your old one was just hotter. There's no way to say, but temperatures don't lie. If you have it on 350 and this guy has no reason to lie to you, and it said 350 inside there, and it kept 350, then it's 350. There's nothing wrong with it. I think you got used to manipulating that old oven, and the new one is.
Why doesn't it bake at the baking time that it says?
Because high altitude is different.
So, okay, well, I didn't see anything in my manual that says anything about high altitude and to adjust the oven.
Okay. Air pressure, here's what they say. Air pressure is lower. It takes longer. Temperatures and or bake times need to be increased, it says. I'm looking at this Betty Crocker thing, and it needs to sometimes substantially depending on the recipe. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying that if anybody knows, maybe they can call us. And I do think it does sound weird that you never had to worry about it before. But I know one thing. I mean, high altitude baking, it does require more time. No matter what, it requires more time.
How much longer did?
Yeah, like how much longer did it take, all in all?
Oh, well, for 2 egg rolls, it's supposed to be 15 minutes. It took at 45 minutes, it still wasn't brown.
Yeah, something's wrong.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you have a temperature gauge you can put in the oven?
Well, they told me that I should buy one.
Well, you should. You know how much? They're $8 on Amazon. I don't want to send a repair guy out until we at least do that. where you can look at it during your baking. I mean, you can just buy one. It's $8. In fact, I'm tempted to buy it and have it mailed to her.
You can go to Lowe's or Home Depot and pick one up for a couple of bucks, or Ace Hardware. They're all over the place.
But pick one up big enough that you can see sitting on the shelf, like Walmart, sitting on the shelf so you can see it. More coming up right after this.
Stop avoiding your erectile dysfunction issue.
Walmart will have it.
And so Lowe's and Home Depot and Ace.
Your free consultation and free blood
She
flow
went from 15 to
evaluation.
45 minutes, something is wrong.
1-800-210-8181.
I agree, but if she has a temperature,
Yeah, because the isn't going to
Let
tell.
the experts at Peak Performance
yeah, they're $7 a
All it takes is one phone call for a free consultation, free blood flow evaluation. Call 1-800-210-8181. That's 1-800-210-8181.
I never thought to buy one of those. We use our convection. I'll tell you what, we use a shitload is the air fryer, man. Fuck, we use the shit out of the air fryer. It's an incredible piece of machinery.
I think I'm going to have your wife convince my wife to try it then.
It's so fast, like frozen breaded chicken breasts that are uncooked. So they're breaded, but they're uncooked.
They're frozen. They're prepped and frozen.
11 minutes. And they're fucking delicious. 11 minutes.
You made French fries in one? They're supposed to be really good for fries.
Delicious.
That's wicked.
They're crispy. I mean, it's a crazy thing.
But you know what?
Anything like pizza rolls, shit my kids make, it's just delicious.
You can use your convection oven as it's the same thing.
It doesn't get the convection oven is a hell of a lot quicker than the regular oven, but it's not as crazy as the air fryer. I have no idea why.
Well, because it's much bigger. The air fryer is
it's tiny.
concentrated, small area.
Yep. It heats up too, like the air fryer gets to say 400 in like a minute and a half. It's ridiculous.
That's cruel, Ken. That's very, very cruel, Ken L. On here.
What did I say?
No, not you. Not one of the guys in here.
What did he say?
There's an app you can download for your phone to become a thermometer. Just turn it on and put it in the oven.
Right.
That's cruel. That's right out cruel, dude.
You know someone would do that too.
That's cruel. Oh my goodness, cruel. I mean, just watch the phone channel.
The department called his diplomatic and soft power activities on behalf of the Kremlin. The yacht called Tango was seized in the Spanish port of Palma de Mallorca by klepto-capture, a Justice Department task force that has been hunting the assets of oligarchs who've been trying to evade sanctions over Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Vexelberg was previously sanctioned by the U.S. over Russia's invasion of Crimea. Aaron Kantersky, ABC News.
An outbreak of bird flu has now spread to at least 20 states. 17 million birds have died since the first case was confirmed in February. Egg prices are up more than 50%, rising to an average of $2.88 per dozen.
Remember when we had that big bird flu scare a couple of years ago?
Yeah, it's been a while.
But my wife, who was working in my office, she ordered 100 packages of Tamiflu for all of our family, friends, and
because of the bird flu.
Yeah, which we never used.
You can give your customers what they want when they need it. We're delivering for one-stop shops, mom and pop.
The eviction gone wrong
startups, retail, wholesale, large.
Was that
the eviction gone wrong? Disappeared.
Oh yeah.
Customers,
Customizers. They just disconnected.
Business unit will always be.
Can we get that eviction call back up, babe? Or they hung up?
Learn more at USPS.com/delivery. This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like the course beats
Looks like she has a number.
before your eyes. And in order to maneuver it, you need an expert by your side.
Street stroll with bodies. Strewed.
Mark,
Do you have 10 minutes? After your 5 minutes, I want to run some numbers by you and see on some decisions.
877 Ask Dell. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro. K-How News Time, 103. A local expert responding to accusations of Russian war crimes in Ukraine. University of Colorado.
I have a feeling in the next week, Ukraine is going to come up with some video
that is going to be unbelievable. And it's going to pressure NATO further than they've gone.
She adds, while some see Russia's retreat from the Ukrainian capital of
NATO is very clearly defined. If it doesn't affect NATO, they're not supposed to do anything.
I don't know if that's true when it comes to war crimes.
I know. I mean, I'm just saying it's not a NATO issue. I'm not saying it's not an issue of international concern, but it's not an issue. It's for each country to decide.
84 people are currently hospitalized due to COVID.
What I don't understand, and I even hate being online and talking about this because there's so many fucking lies, are these people that are following the storyline that Putin is doing God's work somehow.
Who said that?
Oh, there's a whole line of thought out there that Putin
is doing God's work
by eradicating Nazis and child molesters and trafficking.
Looking at like the pointy hat people talking again. It really does.
I mean, you wouldn't believe.
Sounds like the pointy head people are coming out from under the rocks, under their front porches again.
With your impact traffic and weather, I'm Jenny LaRose, 630 KM.
NATO protection of civilians.
Powering your company with open job positions? Check out Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Sponsor your first job today and get hiring by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
I think they do have. I think there is some language in the. I don't even know what you call it. The doctrine.
The NATO Accords. I don't know.
Yeah.
And with same-day appointments, you don't need to wait for the help you need. So if you're ready to get out of pain, off meds, and back on, call Spine One today at 203-367-BACK. Or go online right now at SpineOne.com. That's SpineOne.com.
I'm Katherine Townsend, host of the true crime podcast Hell and Gone. In October 2015, 18-year-old
The problem with podcasts, bro, too many. It's hard to find. I mean, it's hard to narrow it down.
I love true crime, though.
I'm back in Arkansas, investigating what really happened to her.
Yeah.
iHeartRadio is #1 for podcasts.
Are you being facetious, Hellcat, or is that your true belief?
On the iHeartRadio app or wherever
It's
you
not
get your
our enemy.
podcasts.
Address hair loss with the same simple one-day treatment I received. AdvancedHair.com.
Afternoons 2 to 4. It's Leland Conway. This is
Well, that goes to the old saying: "Is our enemy's enemy."
Can I grab this, please?
Our friend.
Mark, you may have to open it.
Okay.
Join us weekdays at 2 p.m. right here
Hello?
at 630 K now.
Hello.
The enemy of my enemy gets to go right after him.
This is the Troubleshooter Show. Now, Tom Martino.
On 630.
Yes.
KL.
Welcome to the show. As you know, this is the only show of its kind. We're here to solve problems, answer questions, take complaints. If you're new to the show, it's simple. It's very simple. If you find yourself with a bad contractor, a bad doctor, a bad attorney, a bad anything, you call the show up and we try to help you out. And guess what? We don't charge a nickel. $300 million in cash merchandise, exchanges, refunds, directly due to this show. You know how much we charge? Absolutely zip, zilch, zero. Not a nickel, and we've recovered more than a lot of law firms. 303-713-8255. Let's get right to the phones. Linda, what's going on with you?
Hey, Mark, this is Linda. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Okay, I'm doing good. I'm just verifying I'm the right Linda. So I bought a hearth cap from a company in Denver. I was putting in a fireplace insert. The fireplace insert did get completed. Upon putting down half a deposit for the hearth cap, about 2 weeks later, taking more of my existing fireplace apart, I realized between the company that was putting in the fireplace hearth cap realized that the stone I bought would not work. It was too thick, too big, too thick. And so I returned. So it was supposed to get returned, And the company that it got bought from can't confirm it got returned. I can't get the two companies to talk. I did a chargeback through Discover, and they declined it. Not surprised. But what I need to do is get these two companies talking so I can get my money back.
Who'd you buy it from? Which company? What was the name of it?
Telluride Stone.
So you bought it, and they installed it, or they did not install it? The other company installed it.
Okay, so the other company in Bailey is called Chimney Doctors. Chimney Doctors was going to install the hearth cap. I paid for half the deposit and then realized it wouldn't work.
Got it.
But in addition to this, that add a little more turmoil is the wrong hearth cap initially was delivered to Chimney Doctors in Bailey, and then
why was it delivered? Why did it get delivered there?
So Telluride would have delivered it to Bailey, to Chimney Doctors, for Chimney Doctors eventually to install it.
And where's the last place you saw it? Who's the last person to touch it that you know? Telluride?
I don't know. I really don't.
Well,
because unfortunately, the wrong one got another one got delivered.
Did it ever even show up in your house?
It might have been sitting in a truck at my house.
And then where did it go from there?
Well, I'm not sure that it was physically here, first of all.
Okay.
It never got attempted to be put in because it was recognized after me putting down half that deposit, although that it was too big.
And they're saying they simply never got it back. So Telluride saying they simply never got it back.
Correct.
And then the other company is saying they gave it to Telluride, or they're not saying anything.
The last word I heard about it from them is on December 10th that they told Chimney Doctors told Telluride when they returned the stone.
Okay, so Chimney Doctors is saying they agree they did have it, but the whole thing falls apart because Telluride's saying they didn't get it from Chimney Doctors.
Correct.
Why don't we, and you paid Telluride directly. You did not pay Chimney Doctors for it.
Correct.
Who do you think has it? Do you think Chimney Doctors, did they get anything when they brought it back? Did they have anything in writing? I mean, or did they just show up and drop it off? What are they saying they did?
Well, that I don't know. I can't get that kind of detail.
Hey, Doc, why don't you call up Chimney Doctors, and let's just ask them, you're telling this lady that you brought it over to Telluride. Did you pick something up, like a receipt when you dropped it off? I mean, they got to show something. Why would someone just grab it and just go drop it off over there and not get the refund, not get a credit, not get something? It seems a little silly. Hold on, all right?
Okay.
All right, hold tight, Linda. All right, 303-713-8255. Roger, what is going on with you, man? What's your question, Roger?
More or less, I'm trying to figure out if you can borrow against a life insurance policy and what exactly you're allowed to...
What kind of life insurance policy?
So we have what do they call it?
Is it whole life? What kind? Is it money that you put in every month, or what is it? Or is it...
No.
Well, it can't be term. It's got to...
If it's term, there's nothing to borrow.
Yeah, there's nothing to borrow on term, Roger. See?
Okay, so it's got to be something that we invest in.
Well,
let me explain. Go ahead.
There is some companies out there, if someone is literally terminal and they figure out what the life expectancy is of that person, they might buy the policy from you, but I'm going to...
Now,
unless if you're ready to croak, they're not interested.
There's something, a viatical contract, I believe they call them, where... Roger, if you needed cash in a hurry and you have a term policy and you're going to die, they will buy you out. They'll cash you out and then they take over your term.
They make themselves the beneficiary.
But is that what you're talking about, Roger, or are you talking about just you need a loan?
No, I just overheard a group of people talking over the weekend about borrowing against life insurance for investment properties.
Yeah, they can. They can if you have whole life. But there's two parts to it. You have to have whole life investment grade policies. Those are usually mutual companies. Do you know what mutual means? It means all the policy owners own a piece of the company. When you have a mutual investment grade policy, it means that they're investing money and they guarantee a return, guaranteed above and beyond what you put in the premium. So if you pay more than the premium, then they will guarantee a certain amount of return. And then you can borrow against those.
And never have to repay them for the most part.
Yeah, if you don't want to repay it, you don't have to. But if you do repay it, you actually can shelter more money that grows. So
there's some downsides to that, though, but it doesn't matter in years.
But you can't convert your term into that, even if you wanted to, because it's either term or it's whole life.
Why are you hard up for money?
No, he was talking about investment properties, right, Roger?
Yeah, no, it's not that I'm hard up for the money. I just, from the way that they were talking, I saw it as a good opportunity, if possible, to go and buy some investment properties.
There's some other creative ways to buy investment properties, Roger. One is with the right trustee, you can do it through your retirement plan. Did you know that?
I did not.
Okay, let's say you have a pretty well-funded 401k, or you have a pretty well-funded SEP or some kind of retirement bundle that's growing tax deferred. If you have the right kind of trustee, or you can transfer it to a trustee that will allow it, they'll do third-party contracts for investment property that you direct, and they will hold it. They will hold it within your retirement. So, in other words, the money it makes, whether it's on interest or appreciation, won't be taxed until you take it out of your retirement. You see, a lot of people have a nest egg that they can't. It'd be silly to borrow from it, but you can buy investment property within it. Didn't we do that once, Mark? We bought one we had a trustee, and your dad did too. We had a trustee that did that.
We even had retirement accounts.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Retirement account trustee. Who the heck? I'm trying to think who it was. Pensys or Pensys, was it? Or
Pensco.
Pensco allowed us to borrow, and it's all done legally and above board and ethically. Another one is your own home. You know, getting something like the liquid loan from affordable interest mortgage. Now, Roger, do you have a home?
Yes.
Okay.
Matter of fact, we bought one in December of last year.
Then you may not have the equity, but let's say, I'll go over it. If you had the equity, what would happen is you could get a simple line of credit on that home, a first line of credit, and then if you had additional money, you can borrow it for investment property, and then you can pay it down anytime you want, any way you want. The good thing about the liquid loan is that it will allow you to pay simple interest only, which keeps your payments way low, and or you can pay principal anytime you want. And it's on your primary residence, but you can use the money to buy investment property. A lot of people are doing that. Again, you have to know what you're doing, but it's a very effective loan. And in fact, all the money that you have in the bank offsets the balance, which helps you pay even lower interest. And for that, it's theliquidloan.com, theliquidloan.com from Affordable Interest Mortgage. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, I'm real curious on something he first asked, and it has nothing to do with his question, but it's something you brought up. These, I don't know, this one.
Viaticals?
Yeah, life settlements, there's all kinds. But here's what I don't get. I know I can buy key man insurance on someone in a company that is with me that is a key man and vice versa, or a spouse or something I have an interest in. But how does someone... I can't go out and buy a life insurance policy on Bradley O'Brien.
No, you can't.
I just can't.
But you're not insuring him, Mark. You're loaning him money.
No. But some of these, they actually buy out the policy. Right. They make the premiums. They make themselves a beneficiary.
Right. But you got the policy on yourself.
That's right. So that's where I'm going. If I got a policy on you as a key man,
right,
and we got that, I could simply make and sell that policy since I took it out to anybody for X amount of money and make them the beneficiary, and they'd be responsible for the premiums. That's what it sounds like. And I'm not saying there's anything even wrong with that. I just really never thought of it before.
I don't know how it works with third parties on Keyman. I know that if you have a policy, you had the insurable interest, and now I buy an insurable interest by giving you money. So when you said you couldn't go out and buy your life insurance on Brad O'Brien, you're right, because there's no insurable interest. But if you loaned him money, there is. That's why banks take out life insurance on you when you borrow money.
Yeah.
That gives them the insurable interest. So that's the part that gives them the insurable interest. 303-713-8255.
So if I wanted a policy on Talib, I guess is what I'm saying. No, but I could have Belinda, his wife, or someone take it out on my behalf and just make me the beneficiary.
Not
and give me control of the policy.
They can't, unless you have an insurable interest.
Even changing the beneficiary.
No way. Okay. You can have anyone be the beneficiary.
That's what I mean. But they can always change it back, is what you're saying.
Retirement Planning Center of the Rockies. Now, I'm the one being deficient. They've called me to set up the appointment for me because I'm going to use them, and I advise everyone to use a Retirement Planning Center of the Rockies because they supervise and overlook everything you have. They look over it all to make sure it's coordinated. So even if you have estate planning, you have investments, you have other things, they can help you directly with those things, or they can help you just coordinate it. Well, I guess the point is they avoid redundancy. They avoid you wasting money, and they make sure you have enough to live on. rpcenter.com, 970-663-3211. That's rpcenter.com. It's a father-son team with a son-in-law. They have many years of experience doing this comprehensive approach with taxes, Social Security, how to get optimal benefits, Medicare, supplements, long-term planning, long-term care, estate planning, all of it under one roof, rpcenter.com, 970-663-3211. They'll meet with you as many times as you want before you can even have to hire them. So look them up, rpcenter.com. SimplyFloorsInc.com. Who are they? Buddy and Karen Mitchell. What do? They take care of you the right way. That's right, because they want you at Simply Floors to find not only the right floor, but the best price, the best installers, and they even give you design consultants to help you incorporate that floor into your home. It's all for one low price at SimplyFloorsInc.com. Make your own appointment, whether it's carpeting, tile, LVT, or more. And hardwoods, SimplyFloorsInc.com. All right, Genesis Total Exteriors is for you. They also do solar. You know what? There are not many reliable solar companies around, but there's still massive tax benefits, and Genesis is doing it the right way. What they'll do is they'll give you a quote, and then they'll guarantee the production for 25 years along with all the components. GenesisSolarCO.com, 303-474-4317. And don't forget to protect your computer, your cell phone, your laptop, or your tablet against any intrusions. And you can do that with a simple app that runs in the background for just a few bucks a day, safernet.com. In fact, they're so confident you'll love it, you get 44 days free use of this. 44 days just with the promo code TOM. That's safernet.com.
When you are sick, injured, or experiencing
Hit next.
you want to do is move your home to find care. Now,
2 years life expectancy for the sciatica.
Oh, that's what they want? Actually, it can be anything you want, right?
No, they usually want, they go through medical records, you better have 2-year sciatica settlement.
Oh, because of what, Mark?
Because they want that death benefit. That's why. I couldn't sit around waiting for someone to croak, man.
You gotta come in with an expiration date in hand.
You better, yeah.
I got some questions.
What do you do? Sit around going, oh, I hope they don't cure what they got. I mean, it's so fucked up. And how could you not have those
I've always felt
thoughts?
weird about it. I've always felt weird about it, but just like a life estate with a house, I've always felt weird.
The reverse mortgage.
What's that?
The reverse mortgage. They're taking a risk that you might die. Well,
Trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, but their actual aerials are fucking great, man. I mean, you got to live to like 100.
To apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay,
We were calculating one time. I don't know about now because interest rates are up, but when they were at their lows, like around say 3%, you could do that liquid loan. If you owed like $100,000 on a $600,000 house, and you could do a reverse, you could get about $250,000 in a line of credit out of the house and live there forever, compared to getting $550,000 in a liquid loan on it, and even using that money to pay that small mortgage each month was still a more efficient way to do it. You would still outlive. You would still have plenty of money to pay that mortgage forever. I mean, you'd have to live to like 170 or something.
Sponsored by Indeed.com. Clearing skies will see sunshine by this afternoon with temperatures today in the upper 60s. A little bit of a breeze right around 10 to 20 miles per hour. I'm Fox 31 Pinpoint Weather Team meteorologist Kelly Burst. If your company needs to spring into efficient hiring, just check out Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Denver's talk station.
There was nobody at Chimney Doctor, so I'll try him again later.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. So Brad O'Brien, OLSlaw.com. Remember, any real estate transaction is worth hundreds of thousands, really, and a few $100 gets you a review from an attorney. But there's also other things. If you're facing a conflict right now, I mean, he can help you, obviously. Eminent domain, adverse possession, borderline disputes, easement disputes, fence line disputes. Oh, my God, it goes on and on and on. And not to mention the commercial stuff that can go on. Somebody wants to know, is a quitclaim deed an adequate way to convey ownership to someone if they want to make it quick and easy?
Yeah, that gets the job done. It transfers ownership. It just does not include any warranty of title.
So in other words, I've often joked that I could give a quitclaim deed to the Empire State Building to you. I could write it out and give it to you, and you could file it. And you would have a quitclaim deed from me for the Empire State Building, because the wording in a quitclaim deed says, I am releasing all of my ownership to you in the property.
If any.
Exactly, if any. So that's the point. People selling quitclaim deeds, if you don't know them and you don't do your homework, you can get burned. Right? I mean, it's not the preferable way of doing it.
No. If you're buying a house and putting down real money, you want to get a better deed, like a general warranty deed or a special warranty deed.
Now, what's a general warranty deed? What exactly does that mean? We hear that term all the time, general warranty deed.
Well, that's the biggest type of a deed. It basically says, I as seller warrant that I have good title, and I warrant that through all of the history of time in this property.
So then why title insurance if you get a warranty deed? Why do you need title insurance?
So that if something does pop up in the title history later on, there's money to pay that claim.
So the seller is the one protected by that. Well, the buyer is too, but
both parties, yeah.
Both parties are protected. Who normally pays for it in Colorado? Isn't it the buyer that pays for it?
No, typically the seller pays for it.
Oh, the seller does. Okay.
Title insurance, but
that's right, because they're guaranteeing the warranty deed.
It's just a custom that the seller pays for it, but it is negotiable, and the insured is the buyer.
So title insurance is another thing people, I think, mistake what they're buying. They're buying the search. What they're doing is saying, if anything shows up outside of this search we did, then you're screwed. But we guarantee our search. Isn't that what they're really saying?
Yes. Title insurance is not a promise that this is the entire history of this property. It just says, here is a history that we think is the one, and we're insuring against this stated history.
Right. So if anything is outside of this history that we don't know about, or if we missed it, excuse me, not just the history, but it doesn't have to show up in there, but if they missed it, then they insure what they missed.
That's right.
But if something shows up afterwards, a guy comes there and says, I did work on this property a year ago and I never got paid, or, Grandpa promised me this outbuilding or something, and it's nowhere to be found, the title company can wash their hands, right?
Well, mechanics liens are a tricky situation because they act retroactively. So you can close on a house, and then a good mechanics lien can show up to 60 days later.
Oh, that's where you get at closing the guy saying, I promise I didn't do anything that would cause a lien.
Yeah, so a title company has everybody, both sides sign affidavits at the closing promising that there's no mechanics lien.
Now, if one does show up, is that a title issue or is that an action against the seller?
It could be both, actually. The buyer would be insured, but then the title company, if they had to pay out, would then go after the seller, assuming that the seller knew about it.
Okay, even though it wasn't of record.
Right.
So the title company couldn't weasel out of it because it wasn't of record. Because I thought they say in their exceptions, we don't insure anything not of record.
Well, mechanics liens are special because they can act retroactively. They can.
Okay, I get what you're saying. So they're in a class all by themselves.
Right.
Okay. Now, can you choose? You can choose to fight that too. You don't have to necessarily lay down for it, right?
As a seller?
Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah.
I mean, just because somebody says they have a lien doesn't mean they have a right one.
Yeah, a lot of mechanics will file a mechanics lien even though it may not be a good one.
And years ago, there were people in Colorado, or there was a guy in Colorado that put liens on the lawmakers' houses because he was pissed at them. This was a real famous case. And then they passed some laws after that about frivolous liens. I thought they did. Is there a penalty for a frivolous lien?
Well, Colorado does have a spurious lien statute that does provide like $1,000 damages plus attorney fees if you don't release it right away.
And how do you prove it's spurious?
Spurious means spurious just means it's
what I meant.
It's wild, it's groundless.
Yeah, but how do you prove it? You just show it's not valid and you get the attorney's fees?
Well, if you sue somebody who filed one of those spurious liens, then the burden shifts to the other side to have to prove that it's not.
Oh, really? Oh, so then they have to prove it's valid.
Yeah.
Or they're subject to $1,000 to you plus attorney's fees?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that happening where people prevail?
Sure. There are some people who think you can just put a lien on someone's house because they owe you money. That's not how it works. You don't have a lien unless somebody gives you a lien.
All right, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. So Dave is on the line, and he had called one time, like earlier this month. No, it was last month.
From Florida.
And he said, you know, I've been partnering with this attorney who's done some amazing things on deferring gain for 1031s and getting out of 1031 gains. And he wanted to, and I said, well, that's cool. This sounds amazing. I'd like to hear about it. And then Mark, I think, did Mark make some remarks on the air or was off the air?
I'm not real sure.
Anyway,
well, you left off where you said, okay, tell us about it. And he goes, well, I can't. Like it's top secret or something. And I said, that sounds sketchy.
Okay.
Something like that.
So Dave said, wait a minute. I want to come back and talk about it and defend that. So he will right after this.
Be talking about CST.
Talk Station with Tom Martino.
What's CST?
Michael Brown tomorrow morning at 6.
A Delaware statutory trust. Okay. You can take 1031 money and roll it in, but there's so much shit that can go wrong.
I wouldn't care about it.
Well, I don't know if that's where he's going. I can't think of anything else that would be super sketchy to get you out of a fucking 1031 exchange without having to pay fucking taxes. But he was talking about, you know, going from one kind of property into another instead of a like property. In other words, he was basically saying you could 1031 an investment house that you're renting out into a painting.
Don't settle for mediocre.
You know what I love about it?
Break up with your insurance provider and get AAA
What do you think?
insurance with
I gotta do
coverage
this,
that
guys.
loves you
Or into a
back.
car.
For 100 years, AAA has been providing
Without
car
any
insurance
tax
for
burden.
any truck. Switch today and save up to 25%. Visit AAA.com/breakout.
You know, we were talking to a guy who was asking about borrowing against life insurance. Well, Become the Banker is a strategy where you can borrow against the right kind of policy. It's a mutual policy, so you become an owner in that company, technically. So you overfund it on purpose. So you pay more than the premium. That extra money goes into a cash account that grows tax-free. And it's a guaranteed 4% return with a 1% dividend. So you get 5% on that money. And it's tax-free because Become the Banker shows you how to use it tax-free. That's right. And you will love the strategy because it's a tax-free account for retirement. BecomeTheBanker.org for more information, BecomeTheBanker.org. I've talked about Genesis a lot because I love the way Genesis does business. Genesis is a home improvement company for all your exterior needs, from roofing to siding, gutters, painting, doors, windows, fences, decks. They can do it all. And if you have any kind of insurance problem, they can, like a storm damage, they can put it all on one invoice and work with your insurance or work with your public adjuster. Genesis Total Exteriors, 303-679-8509. Another contractor I love talking about because they love their value. They love it so much that they are proud and will give you prices on the phone. That's theartofgranite.com for granite or natural stone countertops of any kind or man-made material. They charge wholesale on all material. They tear out and haul away free, and they do the bathroom free when you have the kitchen done. That's theartofgranite.com. You can get your price on the phone right now, 303-386-5919, 386-5919.
When buying chicken, do you ever wonder what your chicken was fed and how it affects the taste and texture? At Redbird Farms, their chicken's vegetarian.
Chemical and antibiotic-free and cage-free. Their chicken's drinking water is filtered. You can truly taste the difference. Redbird Farms chicken is always juicy, tender, and delicious. Buy Redbird Farms chicken.
Mark, this guy also over the weekend texted me this. On a side note, I listened to the podcast on the day you called me. I couldn't answer. Mark said I sounded like I was from Florida. Ask him if I had called when I lived in King Carroll for 25 years. Would I have still sounded like I was from Florida?
I was talking that way, yeah.
And he says, we're not trying to be top secret, which is why I invite you all to the conference call. There is a tax and legal issue which I simply cannot something on air with. Then my experts can disclose everything on a private conversation and be more clear as to what we can and cannot say on the air. So he texts all this over the weekend, then he says, I feel like I need to come on and defend myself, Tom. So,
and getting paid twice? How's that even possible? To sell your home?
Brad, you don't do 1031s, do you?
No, many of my deals are 1031s, but I'm by no means a 1031 specialist. I always refer right to one of the experts. Yeah.
But you take care of the... You can take care of the documents with the 1031 intermediary, or do they do it all?
The intermediary, they do it all.
Have you sent anybody for DSTs?
No, I've never been on a deal with the DST.
I never heard of it.
It's something new.
It's like
you get paid again.
I've never heard of one.
And that happens.
You can get out of your exchange into a DST that holds multiple things, and you're like part of it. It's almost like, it's more like owning a stock, but technically it's not, because it is property. It's just fucking kind of,
I've heard that
it's very hard. You can get fucked, let's put it that way. Tax-wise is all I'm talking about.
The REITs are the newest thing. You can roll your money into a REIT so that you're not actively managing a piece of real estate.
Yep.
So hands off.
But, a 1031 into a REIT.
Yeah. But personal property, as far as being a 1031, that went away like 5 years ago. Tax.
What do you mean?
You used to be able to roll your money into personal property, like artwork or something, but not now it has to be real estate. But any real estate can be exchanged against any other real estate.
Including into a REIT or into...
Yeah, a REIT is a real estate necessary.
My understanding from Dave, though, is Dave saying that's not...
What's the benefit of going into a REIT?
Well, he just said it, you don't manage it.
Because if you're...
But what's the benefit?
It's hands up.
It's more of an investment. It's more of a...
So
it's not like a rental home that you have to keep up and deal with.
Okay, I see.
Or pay to have kept up and deal with. It's really more like...
Well, I know what a REIT is. I just didn't know the benefit of why. It's because you don't want to be active in it.
That's the same with that.
You want to take this lump of money you made on an office building, and you don't want another building. But you could also buy vacant land, right?
You know, that's a tricky question. It has to be income producing. property.
If something is held for investment, you can 1031 into something else held for investment.
Yeah, this is where I need to stop talking. I just don't know.
No, that's where. Well, our tax guy told us that last week.
I thought it has to be income producing.
If it's income producing, it has to be speculative. But if it's held for investment, it can be held for investment. I think that's what he said.
There's companies just like Pensco that, well, that's probably who you're talking about, that actually manage taking that 1031 money and make sure you're doing everything right, regardless of where you go.
No, that's an intermediary, not a trustee.
Some of them need a trustee, though.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK. 713-8255. So Dave Terry called last week talking about doing creative things with 1031 money because, 1031s basically, for those listening, it's because of the code it's named 1031. What it is it allows you to get rid of a property you've depreciated and defer the gain into another piece of property you're going to further depreciate or something else. And eventually, though, the idea is you sell it and realize the gain. That's the ultimate goal, I guess. And Dave, so what you had in mind, you called the show and said, we have ways of never realizing the gain, but doing something with it. I don't want to put words in your mouth. What did you say about it?
Well, thank you, Tom. First off, I'd like to say that, I've been a long-time loyal listener since probably 94, 95.
Wow.
Back in the day when Father John couldn't pronounce Mitsubishi.
Right. That's right.
Right.
Or when a woman called and said her son is autistic and blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, there's nothing wrong with being artistic. He can do a lot of careers. Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
So I also lived out in Colorado for almost 30 years prior to moving down here to Florida.
Okay.
So I want to get that out of the way because of the comments that were made on last Wednesday's show.
Go ahead.
So I couldn't get your call on Wednesday. I was in a meeting, and I called Suzanne afterwards.
Well, let's just get to it. We don't care about that. So tell us about your strategies.
So when I called up, I said we have a strategy where we can defer those gains way out into the future and cover those with instruments that I deal in. So, and I think it was Thursday morning, I sent Suzanne an email.
I don't care about that, Dave. I don't care about the
case studies.
I don't care about the case studies. Here's what I want to know. Let's say I'm coming out of a 1031 with a business sale with a $500,000 gain. What do I do? Give me an example.
Well, what we would do, and here's, Mark is upset because I don't want to disclose some things. Keep in mind, there's
Dave,
tax
I'm asking you just disclose what you feel comfortable with. That's all. So I have $500,000. What do we do?
So we would put you through the process of deferring those taxes out 30 years.
30 years. Well, what if I'm like 70 years old? Can you put it out 30? I'm a serious question.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
So in essence, then, go ahead. Then you can defer it out 30 years. With what instrument? Would I have to buy an instrument for that to happen?
A life insurance policy would certainly cover that.
Okay, so you're allowed to take investment gains and put them into a life insurance policy?
Yes, but it has to be paired with the program. So this is a little complicated. This is why This is why I invited you guys.
Oh no, we
Mark
will.
Included.
Yeah, we'll go on the conference call
to an off-air meeting, and we can show you in detail how this works.
No, that's wonderful. But right now, just to whet our appetite, what is the program that allows us to invest this money in a life insurance policy and defer gains?
Well, those are tax issues, which just like you reach out to experts on your show all the time. I have experts that can cover those areas.
And this life
I'm not giving tax I'm not giving tax advice or legal advice.
I'm not asking you to. I'm asking in generality only, Dave. My God, you just have to be able to do some generality. So let's just say I take the $500,000 and I have a life insurance policy and I'm in this program. Okay. Now, this value that I've deferred, do I get to use it in my life if I want to?
Yes.
Can
it comes as a net cash benefit to you.
Like borrowing from it or what?
Well, you wouldn't take the gain and put it all into a life insurance policy. You would buy a life insurance policy to cover that gain 30 years from the future. Okay? So if you're 70 years old in your example, you're probably not going to be around in 30 years.
Okay.
More than likely.
Okay.
So the life insurance policy will pay off that debt.
What debt?
And now with the long-term capital gain.
Oh, I see. But what allows you to defer it that long? It's not the life insurance policy itself.
No, that's a tax code.
Okay, so what am I buying? What am I investing in to defer the gain? Is it a trust?
No, you're not doing anything like that. You're not investing anything. You're getting a higher net out of the sale of that business or that commercial property. It could be.
But I'm not paying the tax on it. So to make numbers simple, if it's $100,000, instead of paying the $20,000 in taxes, and I don't think you would do it for $100,000, but let's just say I have $100,000 capital gain, and instead of paying the $20,000 in taxes, how do I get around that?
Well, you would buy a life insurance policy.
Are you saying you go from Dave, are you saying you go from a 1031 exchange into like a 1035 to buy the policy?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
See, this is why it gets complicated, and you have a large audience, and I've been misquoted just by talking to you guys.
But Dave, you're not being misquoted. You're not being misquoted now. So here's all I'm asking. Okay, usually to defer a gain, you have to buy something else. Okay, and you're saying buy life insurance, but okay, if I had a $500,000 gain, I wouldn't pay $500,000 for the life insurance, would I? I'd pay less than that, right?
No, you pay less than that.
Okay,
so
where does the rest of the money? Where does the rest of the money go? So when it comes time, when my gain, for example, when my gain, for example, let's say I made $500,000 gain in this year, 2022. Now I'm filing my taxes in 2023. They're expecting me to report that gain and pay it. So what do? I don't report it, or I report it saying I've deferred it.
That's a tax question. Again, I'm not going to answer. You can give tax advice.
I'm not giving tax advice, Dave. There's a procedure that everyone goes through that does this. So when they're filing their tax, do they refer to another instrument they purchased, or do they report the capital gain?
I can't answer that as a tax question, Tom, because I don't.
Dave, it's not a tax question, Dave. When you have a $500,000 gain, you're saying you can defer the taxes out 30 years. So what do you do the very next year when you're filing your tax? How do you answer the question, have you had any capital gains?
It's a type of sale that is being used that's recognized by the IRS.
And the sale will not show a capital gain until 30 years from now. So you're doing So you're doing. You're actually, the sale you're doing is actually set out in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm talking in generalities, and that's what I wanted. I'm not asking for every detail. So, in case you're wondering, Dave, I'm not trying to attack you. I'm trying to extract information. Okay, and I'm
trying to give that to you.
What you're doing, you're getting a $500,000 gain, and you're making a purchase that literally doesn't complete itself for 30 years, is what you're saying.
Correct. And if you die before that 30 years, the life insurance pays off that deferred capital gain. But right now, you can experience the net dollars and spend them any way you want to.
Because the taxes will always be paid.
Yes.
And the thing I'm buying that's set out into the future for 30 years, what is
You're not buying anything. It's more of an agreement
to buy. Okay. I get it.
Yeah.
And then the agreement goes to hell, and you owe the tax. Life insurance pays the tax.
Right. Because if you're young, obviously you wouldn't be, the best thing is a cash value life insurance policy that you can build up that amount of money. But when you're paying off an enormous deferred tax, you're really doing it with pennies on the dollar.
But when I buy this thing, when I have this agreement to buy this thing to defer my gain, and it doesn't close for 30 years, and I back out of it, don't they go back to the original scenario of the tax I owed for that year, and then therefore I have a lot of penalties and interest on top of the original gain?
You may, but that's why you wouldn't do that. So,
but you are kind of backing out of it, aren't you? Because you're not going to ultimately close on it in 30 years or 10 years or 20 years, right?
Well, ultimately you will close on it, and you will close on it with either your passing, in which you don't care how that was done.
Okay.
Or you're still alive and you have enough value in your policies built up to pay that.
And but you're saying this agreement to buy, what are you agreeing to buy? I mean, trust me, it sounds fascinating. I just don't know what you're agreeing to buy where you put out the closing 30 years or you put out the ultimate closing.
You would definitely owe. Your estate would owe if you were dead. The penalties and interest. In over 30 years, that could be fucking massive.
Let's do this call with him.
Can I tell you something, Tom? As a listener, it's very boring. Because he's not going to give you information.
The guy comes off as a snake.
It's as boring as you think, but
it's really not his issue.
No,
he's just not saying it.
You're beating a dead horse. Talk to him off the air. Because otherwise, it's like a...
I think it's interesting because he sounds like he's not saying anything.
Exactly.
What he's saying is, you have to defer that gain into something else. And that something else you're deferring into is a future contract.
Yeah.
It's a futures contract.
My understanding on the 1031, how many days do you have
that's what I thought.
to move it?
But
do you know, Brad?
He says the agreement is like a closing. I don't get it. It doesn't.
Then the 1031 expert.
Let's talk about John
Fuller. Fuller Law. If you're personally injured, I know you're going to hear all kinds of promises from big law firms that talk about getting lots of money. Well, the truth is, you don't want to be in one of those firms because all they're doing is gathering leads and picking the cream of the crop. You want someone who will evaluate you and your case individually, and if they decide to take it, they will work with you and for you. You'll even get a cell phone for John Fuller to call, and you'll be in touch with the staff. He's my accident expert. He's my accident lawyer, and he can be your accident lawyer at myaccidentlawyer.co. Free evaluation of your case and information with no obligation. myaccidentlawyer.co. 303-597-4500. Don't be just a number. This is a law firm, small by design. 303-597-4500. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com. I can't say enough good things about Frank as a person and as a real estate broker. You know what? As a person, I think we got like 27 years together. And as a real estate person, he has stats to show he sells for way more than anyone else in the neighborhood and way faster. Ask him. He's proud to show you all of his listings that he's done. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com, 303-920-1622. When we're talking about estate planning, it's a heavy topic, and we have a lot of questions first before we pull the trigger, right? Well, that's what I love about BlakeHarrisLaw.com. He'll answer your questions, and he won't take out the timer and time you and charge you. All you have to do is ask him. And then once you ask him and you're happy, you want to hire him, he'll quote the flat rates up front. BlakeHarrisLaw.com, whether it's a trust or a will, a payable on death certificate, or maybe some beneficiary deed. 833-ASK-BLAKE. That's 833-ASK-BLAKE.
There are lots of places to get national news, but for the local stories that affect you most, count on Newsbreak's new email newsletter. Right now, listeners of this show will be entered for the chance to win $1,000 when they sign up for Newsbreak's brand new email newsletter at iHeart.com/Newsbreak. Get the top 5 news stories from your neighborhood delivered straight to your inbox every morning. It's completely free. Sign up at iHeart.com/Newsbreak and be entered to win $1,000.
It's Brian with Advanced Mudjacking. 2022 is here, and it's going to be another busy year. Denver is growing, but concrete is still sinking. Porches, driveways, floors, they all settle over time. Advanced Mudjacking at yahoo.com. 303-424-9441.
Don't miss the Trading Group Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 630 KHOW. Learn how you can earn a full-time income as a short-term trader. That's the Trading Group Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. The question line is 888-646-8787.
The True Crime Podcast, What Happened to Sandy Beale, investigates the alarming death of a young woman who dreamed of a career in law enforcement. Journalist Melissa Jeltsin untangles the mystery at the heart of the investigation, revealing a troubling pattern by officials close to the case.
I didn't take any of that crap because I could tell that they were hiding something.
Listen to What Happened to Sandy Beale on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Your local radio stations are here for you. No subscriptions or monthly fees necessary. We're here to give you the news, weather, and traffic you need and the music you love. But if the foreign-owned record labels get their way, it could stop the music. They want Congress to force radio stations to pay them more money simply to play their music. Don't let radio go silent. Text LOCAL to 52886 and tell Congress to protect local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Millions of people use Zoom Phone, the innovative and feature-rich cloud phone system for businesses of any size. Zoom Phone is simple to use, whether you're on a mobile device, desktop, laptop, or desk phone. And because every call is important to your business, Zoom Phone was built with reliability in mind, using geographic redundancy to keep your communications online. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Visit zoom.com/phone system. Zoom, how the world connects.
Where are those receipts? Tax day is nearly here, and Chanel is stressing. Why do I always wait till the last minute? Her small business needs a bookkeeper to crunch some big numbers. All these spreadsheets make my head spin. None of this adds up. Indeed can help her hire great people fast. I need Indeed. Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Fairway Auto Service invites you to experience honest auto repair and service. Trust the technicians that'll provide you with exceptional customer satisfaction. They offer the best auto service repair and quality for your car. For more info, go to fairwayautoservice.com.
Sorry about that.
Should have had it done right, Joel. Don't be that person that says this. I'm fair. I hope Stan should
You can have the last couple of minutes.
I thought they had a total of 180 days to get it done, or else time to pay taxes. So he's saying they do get it done in the time frame.
No, he's saying they never close. It's never a sale.
That's what I don't get.
The sale is 30 years from now.
Just, what do you think just listening to what he said? Would you want to sit in a fucking room with an IRS auditor and explain this shit?
Anytime someone talks about using life insurance to invest.
No, he's not talking about using it to invest.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. I don't think we're going to get to the details, and as Deputy Doc says, we're talking in riddles for most people. I think it's safe to say, though, that Dave has a system to take 1031 gain and defer it somehow into the future to where your life insurance pays it. But you get to use the money in the meantime because the new agreement does not require the cash. Would that be a good summary of real generalities, Dave?
Yes.
Okay. So you're making a commitment. You're making a commitment to buy something, but you don't have to pay the cash now. The cash will be due in 30 years, and your life insurance will pay that cash.
Yes. Typically, it's life insurance.
Or I guess, well, yeah, it would have to be, wouldn't it?
Typically.
Otherwise, you won't get to keep the gain. you would have to put the gain away, which is just as silly as not having it, right?
Right. Or invest it in something that might be riskier.
No, I understand. And I like what I'm hearing. I mean, I'd like to hear more, so I'll do that private call. But are there proprietary things? Is that why you're not answering all of the details?
There is.
Okay.
You know, keep in mind also,
all right, we're out of time, but I'm going to do it. And thank you. Save all your problems for me.